Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 21 deadline stream. Right on time, as always. You have to apologise for me being slightly late. I've had a plumber out today. I've been trying to get hold of an electrician. I need someone to service our boiler. I've just had someone coming out to have a look, see if they can get rid of the birds that you would have been able to hear on the Final Thoughts video earlier. It's been all go today. Nothing FPL related though, which is good. I'm rolling. Paquetá is in training photo, so hopefully he'll start. There's no guarantee whatsoever. It is a little bit of a risk. If he's benched tonight and I start him, it will ruin my Tuesday, but I'm going to have to just leave it. Lots of questions already. Well, not lots yet, but so many questions about wildcard. I just don't know. Early thoughts on wildcard 24. It might be okay. I don't know. I can't really say any more than that. I don't. I mean, personally, it feels like everyone's going to wildcard 24 for 3 Chelsea and like Fernandes, maybe. That's fine, I guess. I mean, I would be trying to do it without a wildcard personally, but we'll have to see. I've got 2 free transfers, and I'm going to roll, I think. If Paquetá was out, I'd probably sell him to Tavernier because it looks like he's going to get penalties full time. Semenyo gone, Cliver injured. But I'm just going to play Paquetá, to be honest. I really don't think Paquetá starts. Yeah, he probably won't, but I'm just going to risk it, to be honest. Worst case, he's on the bench. You know, that'll do. What? Start Van Dijk for his bullet header or Alderete. Probably just Alderete, I think. Start Stack / Gravenberch. Stack. Bench order with Virgil Van Heck. Van Heck is away to City, right? I'd probably go Gravenberch, Van Dijk, Van Heck, probably, something like that. DS injured. I need to take a hit to get him out. It's either I take the hit or roll with Stack. Just probably play Stack. Today is not the day for a Van Dijk bullet head. Well, it's not going to be today. No, it's going to be Thursday instead. Bench 1, Keane, Chow, Senesi, or bench Rodgers. I probably wouldn't bench Rodgers. I'd probably bench Senesi from those, I think. Captain Cunha or Haaland, answer on screen. Would you take a hit for Van Dijk to Gabriel just for Gabriel's price rises? I probably wouldn't, to be honest, but I know a lot of people that would. Chalobah or Hall to play this week? Lewis Hall to buy Chalobah. If you had Gabriel, Saka and Rice, would you bench your 3 Liverpool players? Depends who I'm benching them for, to be honest. I mean, I've got Saka, Gabriel and Raya and I'm playing Szoboszlai over Anderson. If I had Keane on the bench, I would play Keane over Szoboszlai probably. Would you start Krupi Jr.? Probably not. I don't think he'll start. I guess there's like a chance, but I don't think he will. I mean, again, who are you starting him over? Like, if you're starting him over someone that's like terrible, then okay, maybe you take the risk. If you got someone that's okay, you probably don't. Vandenberg or Dorgu to start. If you've got Dorgu, why would you not start him? Burnley away. Like, surely this is part of the reason that you brought him recently. Mr. Super Chat, possibly. Did the one come in early? Oh, yeah. 3 free transfers. Dewsbury or the Tavernier? Yes. Or Guy to Mane? Or roll and start Anderson? I don't think Dewsbury Hall is going to be back anytime soon. So you can roll and play Anderson. It's not a problem. But I would probably just do Dewsbury Hall to Tavernier. Yeah. Seems pretty good. Start Ekatike or Alderete? Probably Ekatike. I need to change the music. Tarkovsky / Mikalenko for Ruben Diaz. I need Mount upgrade. Tarkovsky, I think. How much money you got for Mount? I'm not even sure which midfielder I would buy this week. Feels like not a great time to buy midfielders. Although Gordon's minutes should be good this week. It's just how good they'll be long term, really. Is Timber to Gabriel a waste when I've got Ekatike and only one free transfer? I mean, Ekatike is okay to hold till next week, right? I don't know. I go back and forth on. I go back and. I need to turn my phone on silent. Very unprofessional. We can't hear the music, by the way. No, that's the whole point. I go back and forth on whether Timber to Gabriel is worth it. I think my gut instinct is I probably don't think it's worth it. But also the price rise would just be killing me. And if that's your only route, then I would probably do it. But preferably you'd have Gabriel and Timber, I think. Bench one, Wilson, Richards, Ekatike. Well, Richards is going to be benched for sure. We know that, so I would bench him. One free transfer, Wilson to Enzo this week or roll. Probably roll. Yeah, if you got Semenyo, deal with that next week instead. Rolling this week, Saka and Cunha to Rice and Palmer next game week. Thoughts? It's fine, yeah. Already got Gabriel and Timber. Yeah, it's fine. Here's a question for you, though. If Arsenal, let's pretend Arsenal are going to have a double game week in game week 26, which is possible. Not guaranteed, far from guaranteed, but it's possible. Who would you want to captain? If Arsenal, in fact, let me just rephrase. Let's say Arsenal had a double game week next week. There was two good fixtures. Who would you want to captain in that double? Bench Harry Wilson or Jimenez? Harry Wilson, I think. Richards isn't flagged because he's back in the squad this week, but he's going to be benched. Like Glasner literally said, he's going to be benched. Gabriel, yeah, Gabriel or Rice. I mean, to be honest, yeah, it's a stupid question because Rice has just scored 17 points. So actually, forget it. Everyone's just going to captain Rice. I get it. Yeah, I don't know why I bothered asking. If I'd asked that question after Rice had got 6 points, I think the answer would have been a little bit different. Yeah, fair enough. Sell Saka then. Saka's terrible. On wildcard, is Nunez a sell? I probably okay. Again, I've not really looked at wildcard all that much this week because my presumption is that not many people will be playing it. Gut feeling, I wouldn't have a Man City defender on that wildcard. But again, I've not really looked at it. What to do with Van Dijk? Have Minte and Dewsbury Hall off the bench, or should I just roll with Van Dijk playing and hope everyone plays? Yeah, Minte's done as a pick, I think, at this point. I mean, it depends. Do you want Van Dijk longer term? If not, you can probably sell him, right? Would you play Jimenez over Paquetá or Elliot Anderson? I'd play him over both. Yeah, I think so. Nailed on penalty taken. Never that bad to play. Why do I still have Van Dijk? Just have better things to do, really. People keep saying turn the volume up. This is the exact same volume I've streamed at for years. I did just turn it up a little bit. This is pretty much the settings I've had for years now. The deadline time is not wrong. No, on the screen. The only way for me to get both Palmer and Bruno is to sell Ekatike for a cheap forward. Is that really ideal to change the structure to get Palmer? I mean, I'd rather have Palmer than Ekatike. Did I make a mistake in draft by taking Nkappi out for Collins? I mean, long term, no. Like Nkappi is only as good as there's injuries, right? And do I start Calvert-Lewin over O'Reilly? Who have Leeds got? Oh, Newcastle away. That's probably quite tight. I'd probably start Calvert-Lewin, but there's not much in it. Minte, Voltemada, Ekatike to Krupi, Palmer, Thiago. I quite like it. I wouldn't be in a rush to get Palmer, by the way. But, I mean, Voltemada will probably start as well this week. So you could just do Ekatike Minte for Krupi Palmer if you wanted to, and then just do the Voltemada move next week. Yeah, I saw a few people saying about the audio, so I turned it up. I don't think I can turn it up any more than this, so I'm not really sure what to do. Maybe I need a mixer or something. I don't know. Minte to Bruno G or Rice. I'd probably go Rice out of the two. Which one to start? Mukiele, Senesi, or Mark Gay? I would probably go for Senesi out of those. Oh, sorry. I take it back. I take my flippant comment back. The deadline time is wrong. It's wrong. I thought you meant the countdown timer. I'm sorry. I'm taking it all back. There we go. Now you know it's 6:30. I feel that volume issue today slightly lower than it is on video. Yeah, I know. Because on videos, I can turn it up as I'm editing it. I can't do that on stream. I don't know. No one else seems to have these problems, so maybe I'm just an idiot. I'll figure it out one day. In about 3 years, I'll sort my audio issues out. Minte to Enzo, Welbeck to Thiago. Thoughts? Sounds good. Cunha captain over the robot for a new manager bounce. Probably not for me. But I mean, Cunha's one of the better options if you don't want to go for Haaland. Start Ekitike, Miley, or Anderson. Ekitike. I think Lewis Miley probably will start, but there's got to be a chance he's benched, I think. I don't know. Maybe he just goes into midfield if he doesn't play. I just think Livramento will play right back. At least that's what I'm hoping, because I really want Lewis Hall to play. Yeah, I'd probably start Ekitike. Gordon to Enzo or Rice, or just play Gordon. Definitely just play Gordon. Elanga's out, and Murphy's like a slight doubt, I think. So Gordon's minutes should be quite good. In a hypothetical Arsenal double game week, wouldn't you say Saka is more likely to get a rest from Madueke than Gabriel Rice, regardless of what happened last game week? It is possible, yeah. I think it would depend on what fixtures are around it, though. Like, Saka can start 2 games in a row. Like, he has done that plenty of times. But I don't think he can start 3 in a week. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I actually think the answer might be Gabriel right now for a double game week. Anyway, my point was, I'm not... The point that I tried to make very badly, I realised that pretty much as soon as I said it, is... I personally don't think that... I don't think Rice is better than Saka, to be honest. I know everyone keeps saying it, and Rice has done very well, and it sounds stupid to say it after Rice has just got a 17-pointer, but that guy has overperformed a little bit. I just think in any given game week, when Saka and Rice both start, I still think Saka is the better pick, but there is a lot of money difference. So, as I always say, if you need the money desperately from selling Saka to Rice, then do it. I am not saying that Rice is a bad pick. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying people, because Rice has got a 17-pointer, people are so much more wanting to sell Saka. And like, Saka's had his rest now, so he's definitely going to start against Liverpool. Like, if I could only choose one on a free hit, Saka or Rice this week, I'd choose Saka every time. But yes, I appreciate in a double game week, it's maybe not that simple. Bad example. Rice or Chalobah to start. Rice, 0.1 in the bank, only 11 playing players, including Ekitike and Minte. Do I -4 them out for Manny and Enzo? I probably would take a hit in your case, yes. I don't know about Manny and Enzo, but it's okay, yeah. Like, I think if you get Manny, just as long as you're happy to change structure, and by the way, it's perfectly fine to do that. If you want all those midfielders, then that's probably what you're going to have to do. Leaning towards wildcard in 22. Ekitike to Bowen, Vissa, Thiago for a 1-week punt, or roll and play 4-5-1, doodaloo. So who would you be benching? Ghana. Anderson, Lacroix. I'd probably do the 1-week punt, I think. Chaz, Meba for 39. Probably Thiago, by the way. Definitely not Vissa. Chaz, 39 months. Chow or Tarkovsky in. Tempted to bin off Van Dijk. I think Tarkovsky's the better pick between the two, but there's quite a bit of a difference in price. So just keep that in mind. Is that extra? I think it's about 0.6 or 0.5 million extra. Is that going to block you from doing anything else over the next couple of weeks? Because Chow's also pretty good. When am I thinking about wildcard? I don't know. I really just got no idea. I'm just going to play it by ear. Provisionally, I could wildcard in game week 32, but that's just a game week that I picked out of thin air. Not out of thin air, but that's what came to mind after I watched the Solio Analytics podcast earlier with Praz and JC. But I literally didn't think about it any more than if there's blanks in 31 and blanks in 34, I can only free hit in one of those. And because there's doubles in 33, 36, it's probably best to free hit in 34. Therefore, it's probably best to wildcard after the blanks and before the bench boost. And that's why I came up with game week 32. I have not looked into it at all. It took me about 2 minutes to come up with that. So I do not know. All I will say is I think it's very unlikely that I will wildcard in game week 24. That seems to be the new popular thing that everyone's doing. I mean, I can... Look, things can go wrong and I can get injuries. I think what's playing on people's minds is they've got Guiu. And so they feel there's a need to absolutely have to have 3 Chelsea players for that run. And it is a very good run, don't get me wrong. But I've looked at my next few weeks and my defence stands up pretty well. Granted, it includes Van Dijk, right? But Van Dijk, Anderson, Lewis Hall, Gabriel, and Senesi is not that bad. And I'm not necessarily desperate to have Chalobah. So I can get Palmer and keep Saka and get Enzo Fernandez without wildcarding. So I don't think I need to go in 24. And I think it could create a problem down the line. So I will probably not wildcard 24. Like, I know I create content, so I've got to think about all the different permutations to give you info. But from a personal point of view of playing FPL, I will try and not think about it any more than I have to, because it's just wasted brain power. Because until we get blanks and doubles, who knows? Do I really want Palmer? I don't know. I'm just leaving options open. I don't. This is what I want to roll. I don't need to make any of these decisions this week. All I need to do is roll and then enjoy a 10-day break, then probably roll in game week 22 and just try and get loads of info. Like, do I desperately want Palmer? I don't know. But I know the fixtures are good. And so I don't want to leave myself stuck where I can't get him. But I've got multiple routes to Palmer. I can get him without selling Saka, or I can just sell Saka. And like, maybe I go into the double game week and I do just go for Rice. If I think there's a genuine chance that Saka could get benched, maybe I do Saka to Rice and then Palmer another way. But that's it. I don't know outside of that. We'll have to just wait and see. I know everybody wants to know when to play their chips. Just forget about it. Honestly, you don't need to decide right now. There will be better times to play your chips than this week. Put it that way. Bench one for a draft. Cher, Lacroix, Cucurella, Visser. I mean, there's a chance that 3 of those players don't start. Like, is Cucurella back? If Cucurella is back, he starts. Was he on the bench? Did he even play last game? I feel like he didn't play, but maybe he did. Did I just completely miss it? Let me see. He's yellow flag. He didn't play, did he? Okay. I think Cucurella might be back. So I guess I would bench Cher because I think there's a chance he doesn't start. Visser probably doesn't start, by the way, either. But probably Cher. So Boss to Rice or Bruno G or Roll. I would probably Roll because you got Burnley at home next week, but I don't hate getting Rice. Serious question. Dubravka over Raya. Take the Man United bias out. Raya. Ekatike out for a -4. Calvert-Lewin or Watkins to replace him. Okay, so you really need to think, like, you need to look at your team and decide what moves you want to make the next few weeks, because the better pick out of those two is probably Watkins, but he's much more expensive. So Calvert-Lewin will unlock, okay, I would go Calvert-Lewin because I would want to spend more money not in my forward line. But you might not have that same preference, so you need to think about it a little bit more, I would say. Is Vandenberg starting? Don't know. My guess is no. But there is, I think with Vandenberg, if you've got him, by the way, just start him. Because the chances of him coming off the bench are quite low. So I'd probably just start him. But I don't know if he's going to start. Yeah, it could just be Ajer again. FPL Rogue, 22 months. Start Paquetá or Mukiele. Mukiele's not bad this week. I'd be tempted just to go for him for safety. I really don't know if Paquetá is going to start. It does feel a little bit like wishful thinking on my part. The thing with Paquetá is, like, he's absolutely nailed in that team. And so if they can start him, they will. That's why I'm kind of tempted to risk it. And also, this is a massive game. Now, at the end of the day, if he's not fit enough to play, then they might just not take the risk. But if he can play, surely they start him. It's such a huge game against Forest. These are relegation contenders. So I'm just going to hope that Paquetá plays, but I genuinely got no idea. I can't even remember what the question was. I just went on a rant about Paquetá. Paquetá or Mukiele. Yeah, Mukiele's the safe bet. I'm starting Paquetá primarily because it's Anderson, it's Chelsea. I don't necessarily expect a clean sheet. Brentford away, though. Do you know what? I'd probably start Paquetá. But it's a risk. That's all I can say. With so many of us benching Van Dijk, it's going to end up being the week he gets the header. I know. I actually benched Van Dijk for the City game and he scored. And that goal should have counted. It got ruled out, but it should have counted. So I've already benched him for 1 goal. It just didn't hurt as much because it got ruled out. Yeah, if Van Dijk wipes out my double clean sheet from second bench, whatever. That's just classic FPL. Anderson or Gay? Should I start Semenyo? I would definitely start Semenyo if you got him. Anderson over Gay, I think. Just about. Strasbourg trying to sign a new keeper. Looks like the Strasbourg keeper could be on his way back to Chelsea. Interesting. I do think if you can, I would put off buying Chelsea players just to maybe see what the. Well, I don't even know how you say his name. Rosinia? I should really have already learnt that before I came on stream. Rosinio. I actually saw is it Olivia? She put something up about how you say it. Rosenio. I should have learnt that already. Anyway, the new guy, it'd be interesting to see what he does. I feel like players like Palmer and Enzo, they're definitely going to play no matter what. But if you can put it off, it's probably worth getting some more information. Just say Liam, yeah. Rosinio is probably how you say it, something like that, right? He played in the Premier League. I know, but he wasn't really an FPL pick, was he? Rosinia. Oh my god. My break from FPL content officially over after James's for Planet FPL 101. Here's to rolling, then panicking tonight to get Gabriel. Yeah, fair play to James. Planet FPL, I listened to that podcast quite a lot. He scored 101 points last week. Bruno, he basically had the anti-Andy midfield. Because I've spent so much time not buying Rice and Bruno G. And he had Chow. So we had Chow over my Lewis Hall. He had Bruno Gomet. He had all three 17-pointers. He had Chow, Thiago, and Rice, and Bruno G, and a clean sheet from Verbruggen. It was absolutely insane. So fair play to him. Absolutely smashed it last week. Who else was there? I can't remember who else he had. Oh, Cunha goal as well. Foden and Haaland blank for him. Oh, he had Gabriel too. Absolutely ridiculous. He's got a really good team, to be fair. But it's like, every time Rice and Bruno G just keep smashing the points, it kills me. Am I too young to remember his father playing? I don't know. Probably. So I don't remember. What's his name? Bench one, Garner, Rogers, Bowen, or Calvert-Lewin. Probably Garner, I think. Who would you bench? Although, yeah, probably Garner. Who would you bench? Mukiele, Cash, or Calvert-Lewin? Probably Cash. I need to sell Minter and I'm undecided. I have maximum 7.6 spend. I'm leaving towards Enzo. I have Saka, so not sure if I want Rice. If you've got an Arsenal... So here's the thing, right? If you've got an Arsenal spot, Rice is probably better than Enzo. But my preference would be to try and get to double defence eventually. So for that reason, I'm going to say Enzo. But in isolation, I'd prefer Rice over Enzo just about. Any idea if Nkapie is still starting? I believe Calafiori is still out. So Nkapie should start. Team is should I roll or get rid of the United double up? It's Burnley away. So just roll. Yeah. I mean, it's Man United, so they might not keep a clean sheet. But I would definitely roll. Any crazy team news from the press conference? All the team news is in the ticker at the bottom if you want to check that out. Please shout out Andy Wheeler and his copper hat. Not sure what that means, but there you go. Play Potts or Van Dijk? Potts probably. Start Vandenberg, Van Dijk, or Mukiele. Vandenberg and hope for the best. Mukiele ahead of Van Dijk on the bench. Used to be the pundit on BBC's EFL highlights. You're making me feel bad for not knowing who people are, how to say names. I'm just sorry, I just can't remember. Mateta being overlooked? Maybe a little bit. People just not really looking for forwards right now, I guess. Or if they are, they want to go cheap. Only 15k. Yeah, less than 15,000 subscribers away from 500k now. I should really get the graphic updated so that the bar is a bit further away. Or a bit closer. If Ruben Neves goes to Man United, would he be a no-brainer to get? Probably not. Depends on his price, how many DEFCONs and stuff he gets, I suppose. I've seen people talking about Mainu. Honestly, if Solskjaer comes in, I cannot believe we're... it's going to make it sound like I don't like Solskjaer. Obviously not. He's an absolute legend, right? But it's just like going round in circles, like back to Solskjaer until the end of the year. It's just another year that's now been written off. Like, it's just the management from Man United has just been terrible. But if Solskjaer comes in, I'd be very surprised if Mainu doesn't starting. It's just such an easy win with the fans. 4-2-3-1, Casemiro, Mainu, Fernandes number 10. That's what's going to be. That's what it's going to be. So yeah, Mainu is only 4.6 or 4.8 million or something like that. Maybe 4.9. He's under 5 million. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Rocinio. Rocinho. I think Rocinho's like almost close, no? Is how it's pronounced as a Brighton fan. Oh yeah, another ex-Brighton man going to Chelsea. Think Paquetá and Ekitike will start. Paquetá, I'm confident-ish, but I don't know if I'm just confident because I want him to start. Ekitike, I'm not sure. We haven't had any updates. That's the problem. The press conference is going to be tomorrow. I really don't know. A minor hamstring problem does not strike me as, oh, there's lots of minutes coming soon. My guess is they both start, but it's based on not a lot, really. Solskjaer has been Man United's best manager since Sarah. Yeah, but there's also a reason he got sacked, right? Like, and also saying he's the best manager since Alex Ferguson left is quite a low bar. You know, that's the problem with Man United. Like, you can say like, I don't know, who was I? Which player was I talking about the other day? I said Ugarte's playing okay. He played okay for like 2 games in the last 2 or 3. I'm like, he's played okay by his low bar standards. You know, by most Premier League players, he hasn't actually played that well. That's the problem with United. Yeah, look, I think as long as it is just until the summer, then maybe Solskjaer's okay. But I just think the whole management of that club is just terrible. Like, you give all that money to Ten Hag, then you sack him. Then you bring in a manager that plays a completely different formation. It doesn't work. You give him money in the summer, then you sack him. Now you're getting a manager back in for an interim period who was there before and got sacked. It's just rubbish. It's another season written off. The only thing I will say, I do think a lot of their transfers recently have been a lot of the transfers Man United have made are like slightly flexible. It's not like Mbeumo can only play in a back 3 system, you know? You know, it's not even his best position where he's been used, right? And I know he's not like a strict number 10, he can go wide, but he's a winger essentially. So if you move to a back 4, a lot of these players fit in seamlessly. I'm not so sure about Cunha though, but because if Fernandez plays 10, Cunha's then got to play left wing on number 9. And obviously, you don't have to be an out-and-out winger. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Who cares about Man United right now? Who would you sell for Minte this week? Lefebvre, Tavernier might drop tonight, Wilson or Enzo. I like Enzo as the long-term pay. I do really like Tavernier, but it's a bit annoying that he might drop in price. What to do with Minte? I would sell him. Oh, but replacing Minte would allow me to bench Van Dijk. Yeah. I think Minte's just a sell no matter what, so I'd probably just sell him. Thoughts? Delu, best differential for the next few weeks. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to say Enzo. I mean, I'm just going to say the players I've already talked about. Enzo, Tavernier, Gordon's probably still fairly differential for the next couple of weeks. I don't know. I don't really think about differentials, to be honest. Richarlison, but I can't guarantee you he starts this game and the next game. Barry for Everton, huge differential. Wolves at home this week. Yeah, there you go. I'll leave it at that. Team looks fine, by the way. Start 1, Ekitike, Adoretti, Joachim Anderson. Probably Ekitike. Please rank Krupi, Mane, Beto, Costulas. Probably Beto's just not a first starter, right? And he's just too expensive for that. So I'm going to say Mane over Krupi. Otherwise, the order you've put them, I suppose. Costulas just doesn't start either, right? But am I pronouncing that correctly? I feel like I am. Oh, he did get 70 minutes. And he's only 4.8. But he's not going to start when Welbeck can start, right? So I'd go a bit cheaper. Bench Odegaard or Rodgers? Ooh. I'm going to say Rodgers. Which to bench? Semenya, O'Reilly, Dorgu. Probably O'Reilly from them. Would you -4 Paquetá and Ekitike then? No bench. I mean, I don't know. Paquetá still feels like he's an okay longer-term hold. Like, he should be back from 22 onwards. So maybe -4 Ekitike and someone else who's not great. But yeah, if you've got no bench, I think you've got to sell one of them. Start Ekitike or Harry Wilson this week. Probably Harry Wilson. Is it better to start Rao over Voltemada? I would take a risk on Voltemada in that case. I think he will start. Start Van Dijk and roll, or bench Van Dijk, sell Minte for Enzo, Lefebvre, Cherky, have 1 free transfer. The thing is, I think if that was a player that's going to be great for the next 3-4 weeks, then you could just start Van Dijk and roll. But I don't think Minte is great for the next few weeks, so I'd probably sell him. I quite like Enzo, which you'll probably see as we go through this stream. I mean, if Minte starts next week, he's fine, but I don't know. It's just a headache. I think you get rid of him. Semenyo to Gordon, 1 free transfer. Wondering if playing Semenyo and rolling ready for Chelsea swings would be benching Timber, Keane, Dorgan, chasing Ray. I would just play Semenyo, yeah. Start Timber, Akatike, Timber. As a 3-week punt, would you go Bruno G or Gordon? I mean, the minutes are there with Bruno G, but I think Gordon's more interesting, so I would go for him. Henderson or Petrovic. What is it? Home to Villa and home to Spurs. I'm gonna say Petrovic, even though he'll probably be the reason that the clean sheet goes. He has not played that well this year. Is Cherky a great pick? He's a good pick, I would say. Gordon, no goal from open play since like March. Yeah, that's probably about right. I think it might even be earlier. Yeah, even further back. Are you sure you don't have any Enzo? Yeah, no. When is the Man United press conference? It's now, actually. It's at 5 o'clock. I don't know how much team news you're going to get, though, because it's going to be a lot of questions about the job, right? Solskjaer and Carrick among the candidates under consideration. Best differential is Mainu. I mean, is he even fit? I'm not convinced he'll start, by the way, this week. And then it's Man City at home, Arsenal away. Like when I say like 4-2-3-1, Mainu back in, yeah, when he's fit, but I don't even know if he's fit right now. He's too busy liking posts about Amorim on Instagram. Worth taking a chance on Ekatike start or start Van Dijk and accept the maximum 4-pointer. I'd probably start Ekatike. Would you bring Mateta and Tavernier or Gordon and Calvert-Lewin? I'm going to say Mateta and Tavernier. Yeah. How do you justify Senesi over Van Dijk? Spurs at home. Bench Calvert-Lewin, Szoboszlai or Mukiele. Mukiele, I think. Between him and Szoboszlai, probably. 2 free transfers. Martinez to Kelleher to fund Vardiol to Gabriel and bench Minte, or take a hit to get Enzo in for Minte. Praying Voltemada starts. I do think Voltemada will start. I will say, I thought that last week as well. I don't know. Okay, so if you're going to take a hit to get Enzo to bench Voltemada, I probably wouldn't do that. I do like the first moves you said, though. Vardiol to Gabriel just seems like such a good move. Do you think Cunha will play up front when all the players are available for United? 18 months, by the way. I do not know. I guess the thing that I'm struggling with the most to work out, right, let's assume the new manager comes in and plays a back four, which seems very, very likely, is what happens on the left wing. Because there's no Rashford, there's no Garnacho anymore. There is no natural left winger. Now, there's players that could play there. Like, I'm sure Ahmad could play there. And I'm sure Cunha could play there. But Cunha's not I wouldn't say he's a left winger. He can play off the left, but I'm not sure he's like what you would want there necessarily. So let's say they play Ahmad left, Mbeumo right, Bruno 10, then maybe Cunha plays up front. But I do think Cunha, it's hard to see him being benched that often, but it's also hard to know exactly where he's going to fit in. So, yeah, let's see. Play Semenyo or use your 1 free transfer, Cherky, Enzo, Rogers. I'd probably just play Semenyo. I think just give yourself another week to think about it. Either way, Cunha's not a problem this week. 100% not a problem. Did you do a wildcard suggestion this week? No. My suggestion is don't wildcard. Van Dijk to Gabriel or roll to 3 free transfers. I'd be tempted just to get Gabriel. Like, if Van Dijk's your only way to Gabriel, I would just do it. Cunha played from the left for Wolves all the time. He wasn't a left winger, though, was he? It's a slight difference being like a left forward or like a left 10 or something. Bruno left wing. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, it's all speculation. Maybe Cunha does just play that. I do not know. The question was whether he's going to play number 9. I also don't know that either. Would you move Cunha to someone in 22 or roll? Let's decide in game week 22. honestly. If you're not sure where to go, then just keep him. Like, I'm open. All I can say is I'm open to selling Cunha in game week 22. I'll decide next week, I think. A lot of rumours about Paquetá being sold. There's always rumours about Paquetá being sold, and he always remains at West Ham. Play Lacroix or Ekitike? Probably Lacroix. Watkins in for Ekitike. Sure, if you're willing to commit that much money to the forward line for a bit longer. I'd probably play Lacroix, keep Ekitike for Burnley at home. Is Cherki a risk with Pep Roulette? I mean, probably. The thing is, Man City got so many injuries and players away. I think Cherki just starts again. How long that lasts for, I don't know. I mean, like, Foden's not completely immune from getting dropped at some point. It could happen. Like, right now, Cherki looks pretty safe for minutes. But if the question then is how long is he safe for, I just don't know. That's always the problem with Man City players, right? At least with Foden, you know he started every game since game week 4. What do you think about Stack as a cheap option? He's pretty good as long as Longstaff is out. The fixtures are not amazing for Leeds, though, but then he's less than 5 million, so who cares, I suppose. I mean, I couldn't see myself buying Stack instead of Enzo Lefebvre right now, put it that way. Just transferring in Gabriel Cherki and Verts versus out Foden and Semenyo. Just transferring in Gabriel Cherki and then Verts versus out Foden and Semenyo. I don't know what that last bit means. Play Heaven or Xhaka? Heaven. Will Thiago get benched after the quick turnaround? Like, it's a possibility, but I think he's going to start. Whether he plays 90 minutes, I don't know. If you can take any manager at Man United, who would it be? I was going to say Gareth Southgate just to wind people up. Do you know what? If Gareth Southgate got linked, I'm not even sure I would care at this point. Why not? Give him a go. How much worse can it get? That's probably not any manager. I don't know, because you think when you've Tuchel, there you go. Although preferably in the summer after the World Cup. Let him win the World Cup for England, then let him win the Premier League for Man United. I'm going to say Tuchel because I don't want to think too much about it. And I think the first 2 managers that came to mind, you could just never get because of the previous clubs they've managed. I'm sure there's someone more obvious, but I'll just say Tuchel. Glasner would also be pretty good. Glasner has signed a pre-contract for United for the summer, I've heard. He's checked out at Palace, apparently explains their results. Interesting, unsubscribed 3 months. Glasner would be good, but I hope, and I think he probably is, quite flexible. I don't want another back 3 manager, or I don't want another manager to come in and play a back 3. I know it can work, right? We've seen it at Palace, but that's not what I want to see. And I think Glasner is probably flexible. He did do an interview where he said his favourite formation is 4-4-2, but basically he'll set up what the squad needs. Yeah, maybe Xavi will be okay. Roy Keane, no. No, not Roy Keane. I did see there was a clip, like it was like an Instagram reel or something from Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt's podcast. And there was a manager that came up and they said no to. I can't remember who it was, but I thought that manager would not be that bad. And then the Roy Keane came out and obviously they had to say yes. I'm like, come on, you can't say no to the other manager and yes to Roy Keane. I can't remember who it was now. Start Anderson, Fulham or Wilson. Wilson, Cherki or Bruno G. To buy Bruno G for the safety of minutes longer term, I think. Start Mukiele or Lewis Potter. I'd risk Lewis Potter and hope he comes back in. On a wild card because of injuries, is Rodgers and Watkins a mistake? I wouldn't say it's a mistake. I'm not sure I would do it, but it's not a mistake. Is there a good cheap 5th defender you recommend? I have Mukiele. Well, you could just go Alderete instead and save yourself 0.2 million. Or do you mean another one as well as Richards, 4.4. Depends how cheap you want to go. I probably wouldn't double up on Sunderland. I wouldn't go Burnley. Yeah, I'd probably go Richards, 4.4. Konza, 4.4 is not a bad option. Start Mukiele or Szoboszlai. I'm going to say Szoboszlai for the Pens. Xhaka, Reinders or Garner. I mean, long-term, probably Garner. This week, Reinders. Minte, Ekitike to Enzo, Thiago, or get Calvert-Lewin and save money. I'd prefer Thiago over Calvert-Lewin. Whether you need to save that money depends on what your future moves are. My wildcard, Dubravka, Verbruggen, nice. Chow, Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Timber, Mukiele, Sharda, Garner, Bruno G, Saka, Foden, Haaland, Igor, Jesus, Barnes. Is it good? I mean, it's probably good, but I've not thought about wildcard all that much. You've got 3 Arsenal who are the most likely team to double first, which is good. And you got no Chelsea. That I would have Enzo instead of Shada, I think. Start thinking ahead. I also quite like Tavernier instead of Garner. The rest looks okay. Bring in Rice or Bruno G. Rice, I think. Thoughts on Dorgu in for Van? I would not buy Dorgu right now. It's just wait. It's this week and then who knows? Could be a completely dead pick after this week. Like long term, Dorgu's not. I don't think Dorgu's going to keep starting. Dallo, like if it's going to be a back four, Dallo right back, Luke Shaw left back, and like Dorgu's not going to play right wing when Ahmad and in Burma are back from AFCON, and in Burma could be back soon. I think I think I saw that he's playing up against Mazraoui in the African Cup of Nations, so only one of them can get through to the next round. So in Burma could be back soonish, unless he goes through, and then he wouldn't be. Start Rodgers or Gay. Rodgers, surely. Saka to Rice and Heaven to Gabriel this week, or Saka to Rice and Dewsbury Hall to Enzo this week, and Nico O'Reilly to Gabriel next week. Oh God, part of me just feels you should just get Gabriel, but like Heaven has got Burnley, and he probably does start. I think I prefer the second option. Deal with Dewsbury Hall and then get Gabriel next week. But that sounds crazy. Keep Heaven instead of buying Gabriel. Just sounds so stupid when you say it out loud. But that's my gut feeling, I think. Bowen captain, hell no, not for me. I say hell no. He'll definitely score now, by the way. It's a good fixture, but he's probably not on penalties. His goal threat's been pretty poor this season. He's fine, but not captaincy material. Not ahead of Haaland. I have one free transfer. He's transferring out Rodgers for Rice. I would just keep Rodgers for now. Great content. Thank you for watching. Okay to roll. Yeah, unless you got any moves in mind, but it looks okay to me, I think. Will Minte play? I doubt it. I doubt he's going to start. I've done Ekatike to Watkins. 1 month, by the way. Nice. Would you take a -4 for Minte to Enzo and keep Dewsbury Hall on the bench, or do Dewsbury Hall to Garner and bench Minte? I would just deal with Minte, I think. You need to deal with both eventually, but just deal with Minte first. I'd rather have Enzo than Garner this week. Not that Enzo is essential or anything like that, by the way. Probably making it sound like he is. Can you explain why it's good to have triple Arsenal for a double? It's my first year doing FPL in the top 300k. So with a double game week, you basically get 2 fixtures in 1 game week. So double the chance at points, essentially. By the way, Arsenal might not have a double game week. But as it stands, with all the current info we've got, they are the most likely to have the first double. But they might not. It's worth saying that. Over Minte, start Anderson, Wilson, or Lacroix. Wilson. Is it time to remove Semenyo? If so, Foden in. Foden's a perfectly fine player to buy, but it's also okay to keep Semenyo 1 more week. Is dealing with Dewsbury Hall a priority? I mean, it depends what other transfers you got to potentially make. But Dewsbury Hall is probably not going to be back anytime soon, I don't think. Start Ekatike or Wilson. Wilson. Mane is a cheap forward for a dead spot. I need to play him this week. Oof. Who have Wolves got this week? Everton away, isn't it? Sure. I mean, there's no better picks, I don't think, for like minutes. I mean, maybe Kroopy. Pretty embarrassing. I'm behind someone who ranked behind someone who doesn't know what a double game week is. Don't worry, but like I'm ranked fairly high up, and there will definitely be people that are ahead of me that probably haven't made a transfer this season. They forgot they were even playing FPL. Start 1, Van Dijk, Ekatike, Potts, or take a -4. No, I wouldn't -4 Van Dijk out. I don't think so. Would you do Saka to Rice or Raul Jimenez to a dead spot to fund Gabriel? Rice means I play Jimenez 22 versus Leeds. Dead spot means I play Tark. Probably Saka to Rice, I think. Start 2, Ekatike, Szoboszlai, Anderson, Alderete. Szoboszlai and Ekatike, I think. Which 2 do I start? Our Mukiele, Timber, and Lewis Potter. I'd bench Mukiele out of those. Is Bowen a good buy? I mean, if you're desperate, For a new forward, he's fine, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get him. I read that Dewsbury Hall might be out until mid to late February. Yeah, I think he's going to be out for a while. They just don't want to say it. I wonder if they're going to go into the transfer market for someone. Palmer and Wilson or Rice and Enzo? Probably Palmer and Wilson. The thing is, right now, I'm not 100% sure that is the best combination. But if Palmer gets anywhere close to what he can produce, you are going to want him for that run they've got coming up. So if you have to decide right now, I would just go the Palmer one. I always think it's heartbreaking when I'm behind someone who didn't start in game week 1. Yeah, I always hate that as well. Someone starts in game week 2. And then someone always says, well, is it not better to just start in game week 2? No, of course not. Yeah, so overall rank, I'm 8027. For game week 1 starters, I'm 8022. Wait, does that mean there's no one ahead of me that started in game week 2? 80, or does that mean there's 5 people ahead of me? Yeah, I think that means there's... So I'm 8027 overall. I'm 8022 from game week 1. So I think that means there's 5 people ahead of me that started in game week 2. Five people ahead of me that didn't even have any... How many points did I get in game week 1? Let me see. Gotta go back quite a bit. There's definitely a quicker way to do this, but I've chosen to scroll through every game week individually. 46 points. So they started the week after me and they've overtaken me. And I've spent hours and hours on this, and there's 5 people that didn't even start the game for game week 1. They're ahead of me. Start Miley or Keane? Keane. 1 free transfer. Van Dijk to Tarkowski this week, or roll and just play 2 of Wilson's having around. So definitely roll that, in my opinion. Gabriel, Timber, and Hall is absolutely fine. There is no way Tarkowski is worth... He's good, but I don't think he's worth a transfer. Yeah, no chance. Rodon, Nekatike, and Chalobah to... Oh, sorry. Rodon, Nekatike to Chalobah and Thiago. I have no cover. Yeah, sure. Chalobah's good to pick up. On wildcard, Bowen and Wilson or Mane and Rodgers? Oof. Bowen and Wilson probably out of those 2. Bench 1, Anderson, Mukiele, Ekatike. Mukiele. Should I play Timber versus Liverpool or Garner versus Wolves? Timber, probably. Who should I replace Minte with 6.5? Probably Enzo. 1 free transfer left after doing Timber to Gabriel. Should I roll? Nah, Minte out's pretty good, I think. Yeah. Sacrifice Saka or Foden to get money for Gabriel? Ooh, good question. Good question. I'm going to say Foden, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm surprised Rice isn't more expensive. Oh, yeah, he's still, I don't know. Maybe he is a bit expensive for what he offers, which is loads of points. He's definitely not too expensive for the points he's got so far. Hopefully it doesn't continue. Start Ekatike or Van Dijk? I think I'd risk Ekatike. Mostly because I'm just not convinced Van Dijk gets a clean sheet whatsoever. Obviously, he's got other ways he can get points, but yeah. Is Gabriel essential or is it okay to wait until after Liverpool? I think it's okay to wait. You probably do want to get him in as soon as you can, though. Like after Liverpool. There's 10 people who started game week 2 ahead of me, and I got 76 in game week 1. Like, how? I know, happens every year. Start Raya, Timber, and Gabriel or Anderson. Yeah, start your Arsenal. Is Broya a good shout for a cheap forward? He's nailed. No, I don't think he's nailed. I mean, I can just go and have a look how many minutes he's played recently. I'm pretty sure he's not nailed. Oh, yeah. I mean, he has started the last 3, but 25 minutes in game week 17. I'm not sure he's nailed. 5.2. I think, honestly, I don't know. I would just go really cheap for that spot if you're looking at players like Broya or Broya. Play Dubravka or Raya. Raya, I think. Start. I mean, if you got 3 Liverpool players, then you could just play Dubravka, as long as you got no Man United players. Oh, no, Callum Wilson. There's a Wilson at West Ham, but I actually don't know if he's officially left yet, so I should delete that. I think if it hasn't already happened, it's gonna happen. Start 2 of Saliba, Timber, and Raul Jimenez. Raul Jimenez and Timber. Would you sell Verts, and if yes, to who? Rodgers. I wouldn't sell Verts to Rodgers this week, no. I think you could actually keep him and just play him against Burnley next week. Lyle Foster is out of AFCON. Oh, there you go then. Don't get Breuer. Yeah, there's loads of rumours going around that Callum Wilson's going to leave West Ham. I think I even saw one before I came on that said like he's basically been let go from his contract or something. It's obviously a two-way thing, right? West Ham are happy to let him go. He's happy to go. Bench one, Harry Wilson or Dorgu? Dorgu probably out of those. Although, do you know what? My gut feeling is you play Harry Wilson, but if I had that decision, I feel like I would have to play Dorgu just in case he plays right wing against Burnley. We don't actually know how long Brownpoint's going to be out for, but he must be getting closer and closer to making a return now. I wouldn't buy Keane if you got him. I would just keep him for now and just play it by ear, depending on what David Moyes says. Would it be? I don't think David. Does anyone know if David Moyes mentioned him in the press conference today? I saw the thing about Keane getting through the last game okay. I think you're awesome, but do me a favour and change your rank history. I think it should read 4 times top 10k, 5 25k, 2 times 50k. Yeah, maybe. But like a top 5k is also a top 10k. That's how I look at it. Bench one of Wilson, João Pedro, Rodgers or Timber. Pull him away for João Pedro. Timber maybe out of those? What do I know about Fletcher? Not a lot, to be honest. Honestly, I wouldn't even worry that much. Like, you're not buying any new Man United players right now anyway, so let's just wait and see. But I think Man United attack has actually been pretty good this year. Like in terms of like XG, etc., we've actually been all right. Scored plenty of goals. So I don't think we're going to get like worse. That's for sure. The only thing that can get better really is the defense, because that's been awful. That's like a big problem. I got many injury problems. Would you do Tete to Chow for free and play 4-5-1, or do Ekitike and Tete to Thiago and Gabriel for a -4? The -4 to get Gabriel sounds quite nice to me. Would you sell Van Dijk to Gabriel and then also Saka to Rodgers to free up cash in an Arsenal space? No hit. Or keep Van Dijk for Burnley? If your only route to get Gabriel is to sell Van Dijk, I'd probably do it. Thoughts on bench boost this game with Lewis Hall, Pickford, Garner, and Tarkowski? If that's genuinely your bench, I mean, I'd be tempted. Like, I'm probably going to save my bench boost until we get to double game week season, but if it's anything like last year, the double game weeks won't be massive, and there's every chance we're just bench boosting with single game week players on the bench. So if that's your genuine bench, which I don't believe, to be honest, I don't believe your squad is so good that Tarkowski and Lewis Hall are on the bench. But let's assume I'm wrong, which I usually am. I would bench boost that, because I think if you can just get it out of the way before you wildcard with a good bench, considering we're all probably going to bench single game week players anyway. Yeah, I think I would bench boost it. What does she see? Minte to who? Casemiro, Garner, or Harry Wilson? Probably Harry Wilson from those options. I would go Tavernier though. Palmer or Saka? Palmer, I think. Just hope for the best. Captain help. Palmer, Saka, Ollie Watkins, Igor Jesus. Between Saka and Palmer, I think Arsenal do really well against Liverpool. I don't know. Palmer, Saka. My gut feeling was to say Saka, but I kind of want to say Palmer. I'll say Palmer. Start two of Timber, Gabriel, and Ekitike. To Arsenal. 1 free, -4 or roll for Ekitike, Sanchez, Richards. Sanchez is okay because you've probably got Dubravka. I mean, whether you should roll depends on the rest of your team. Like, if your rest of your team is all going to start, then you could just roll. It depends how much cover you've got. But I think Riches is not bad long term, and Ekatike's got Burnley at home, so you could roll if the rest of the team is fine. Minte to Tavernier or Rodon to Alderete. Tavernier, I think, then deal with Rodon later on. Is there any snow? Not near me. Is Harry Wilson suspended? No, the yellow card threshold's 10 now. Is Calvert-Lewin the best cheap nailed forward? I mean, Igor Jesus and Barry have got better fixtures. Barry's minutes maybe not quite so secure. Igor Jesus' minutes look okay. Will Heaven play? It's him or Harry Wilson. Heaven should play, I think. There is a press conference for Man United that should have happened at 5, so I don't know. I don't know what's come out of that. I haven't seen anything. Apparently, Fletcher was going to talk at 5 o'clock. How's it going? Pick 2 to start out of O'Reilly, Cash, Harry Wilson. I'd bench Cash out of those. Start 1 between O'Reilly, Szoboszlai, Mitoma, or Ekatike. Szoboszlai, probably. I think. Even though he's been pretty bad, if I'm honest. 1 free transfer. Would you sell Ekatike to Watkins or keep Ekatike and only Van Heck first sub? I think I'd roll that. Just have Ekatike for Burnley next week. Start Szoboszlai or Cooper Jr. Szoboszlai. Start 2 out of Anderson's and Alderete, or sell Van Dijk to Chow or Minte to Tavernier, or just roll and play the 2 from above. I mean, you can do any of them, but how long do you want to keep Minte? If the answer's not very long, then you could just get Tavernier. But I will say, by the way, Tavernier is probably going to drop in price tonight. There is a chance that happens. I wouldn't do Van Dijk to Chow to bench Alderete or Anderson, I don't think. Would you say Barry starts against Wolves? He should do, yeah. Yeah, I've already answered that question about Branthwaite's injury. What's your ultimate differential team? I don't know. I don't really look at ownership unless I have to. So I'm just not good. I don't think about differentials all that much, to be honest. I just think about who's going to score the most points and then pick the wrong players. Next game week, will you take a hit to do Raya and Goodmanson? Probably not. So Verbruggen and Gabriel, or rather do free transfer Minte to Enzo. I'm probably complicating it as I can just sell Timber for Gab. Honestly, I think you don't really want to sell Timber unless you have to. Maybe Raya and Goodmanson out is okay. I just don't like the hit part of it. I think I prefer it to selling Timber, though. I think if you're on Timber and Gabriel, that's quite nice. Watkins or Rogers long run, don't consider minutes. Well, Watkins then, but why wouldn't you consider minutes? Do you think... who do you guys think is better to play? Anderson or Lacroix, or both, and bench Szoboszlai? I'd probably start Szoboszlai ahead of Lacroix, I think. Although it is probably quite close. Like, Lacroix's at home. It's not a great fixture, but he's at home. DEFCON potential. Like, Szoboszlai is against the toughest defence in the league. Away from home as well. He ain't going to score another free kick like last time. Is Paquetá going to play for sure? No. Best pick on wildcard, Palmer or Saka, or go for both? I suspect that I would go Rice and Palmer. But I think you can make Palmer and Saka work and then figure it out later which one to downgrade. Ekatike and Lafay to Watkins and Gordon, 2 free transfers. It's okay. I'm still not convinced Watkins is the play longer term. I just think the money involved is just too much for someone like him. I wouldn't do that move, to be honest. I would just play Lafay and then have someone else cover Ekatike. But it's okay if you want to sell them both. Like the stream for green arrows. I like that. I can't guarantee you green arrows, of course. But if you wouldn't mind liking the stream and giving it a subscribe, that would be good. Do I go for Calvert-Lewin or Barry on wildcard? I find it quite difficult to sit here and recommend Barry, but the fixtures are better than Calvert-Lewin. He's slightly cheaper, and he has started the majority of the recent matches as well. 5.7. Calvert-Lewin's the safer pick, but if he keeps starting, I don't mind Barry. Start Sanchez or Dubravka. I think I would start Sanchez, but there is a chance he just misses out. Oh, Darren Fletcher confirms that Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount are training ahead of their visit to Burnley, but the pair are on managed minutes. Okay, so that's pretty much what we knew was likely anyway, because Amorim said he expects them to get minutes. So they'll probably be in the squad and off the bench. Or, in Bruno's case, he'll probably start, but he'll get subbed early. De Kuiper and Minte and Ekitike have to start all three. 3 free transfers. I want to do Gabriel and someone else, but won't have enough for Chelsea players long run. Okay. So, can you not sell Ekitike to a cheap forward, Minte to Enzo, and De Kuiper to Gabriel, no? That means you get a Chelsea player in and you get Gabriel. I mean, I'd rather have Gabriel than Chalobah. Virgil and Wilson to Tarkowski and Bruno / Enzo -4. Probably not. No, just play Wilson, sell Van Dijk if you really want to. FPI something. Welcome to the new member. Thank you. FBI. I don't know what that is. Jesus. Bench 1, Rogers, Voltemada, and Harry Wilson. I'm going to say bench Harry Wilson because I think Voltemada will start, but it is a little bit risky. Start 2 out of Wilson, Anderson, Forrest, or Dorgu. Oh, again, I'm going to say Wilson and Dorgu. I find it very hard to bench Dorgu. Any bird updates? They're still here. They still make a lot of noise. They must be small birds, though, because the hole they've pecked in my air vent is quite small. Ekitike, Minte, Van Dijk to Thiago, Enzo, Gabriel for free. Gotta say, I quite love that. Yeah. Been feeling like an absolute goblin, okay, for selling Thiago and Rice in a... Oh, God, you sold... Oh, God. By the way, I'm not saying, oh, God, it was like a terrible move to make, but that must hurt. Selling 2 17-pointers. At least I got Chow. Okay, we had 1 17-pointer. FPL stuff is brutal. Yeah, trust me. And sometimes I think, but it can only get better. But do you know what? Sometimes it just gets worse. Hopefully it won't be the case this time. Good luck. Hopefully the points come in for you. That does suck, though. Play Royce, Brentford away, or Verbruggen. I'd play the Sunderland guy. Best Minte replacement, 8.2 or 6.5 value in order. Enzo under 6.5. 8.2, probably Rice. Bench boost with Dubravka, Mane, Alderete, Anderson. No, don't think so. Would you do Tavernier to Enzo this week? Nope. Can you rate my wildcard, please? Verbruggen and Kelleher. Interesting. Timber, Gabriel, Chow, Tarkowski, Chalobah, Rice, Palmer, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, Fernandes probably doesn't start, but he will do going forward. Rogers, Enzo, Haaland, Creepy Barnes. Looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3 Arsenal. 1, 2, 3 Chelsea. Yeah. Looks pretty good to me. Wildcard played Bruno and Goodmanson or Foden and Van der Ven / 4.5. I think you're going to want Bruno. Do you know what? I would go Foden and a Sunderland. Like, can you get Alderete? If you can do Foden and Alderete and then do Foden to Bruno later on. Krupi is nailed. He's not. Good fixtures and 6 goals from 10 shots on target. Yeah, he's not nailed, though. Is Van Dijk to Gabriel and Saka to Rogers good? It's fine. Saka to Rogers just feels so uninspiring, but I know why you're doing it. You got no other way to get Gabriel. I mean, I guess it's fine. Richards and Anderson to Chow and a 3.9 million defender with no hit. No, probably not. I mean, 3.9. I would just keep Richards and Anderson, in all honesty. Like, Chow is good, but 2 transfers just to basically get Chow, I don't think so. You could buy Heaven, but I don't know how long he's going to keep starting. Loving the streams as always. Thank you. It wouldn't be very nice if someone said to me, loving the stream this week, although most of the time I do hate it. That'd be quite funny. Keep Semenyo and or Rogers this week or transfer 1 out for Cunha. I wouldn't waste a transfer on Cunha now. Most people are going to sell him soon, I think. He's obviously a really good week for him. But thinking of the bigger picture, it's just another transfer out soon. Creepy is nailed on. It was confirmed by an inside source at Bournemouth. Well, there you go then. He must be nailed on. Not enough Bruno talk. Don't worry, that will change soon. That will change soon. Should I start Van der Veen? Oh, sorry, Van der Ven or Van Dijk? Van der Ven, probably. Who should I start between Paquetá, Calvert-Lewin and O'Reilly? Probably Calvert-Lewin. Just in case Paquetá doesn't start. Even if he was going to start, probably Calvert-Lewin. I honestly have no idea if Paquetá is going to start. Whether you should start him depends on who your alternative options are. Like someone there just said Paquetá or Harry Wilson. I'd just start Harry Wilson. Are we overdoing it to get Gabriel in? He averaged 3 goals a season in the past 3 years. He's not scoring every week. Some people are, yeah. So it depends how you're going to get him in. Like Timber to Gabriel. Last week I said to people I probably wouldn't do it, and then Gabriel smashes him. I'm still not completely convinced by Timber to Gabriel. But I completely understand why people are doing it. Gabriel is the better pick. So if you've got a free transfer, why not? Is Semenyo gone? Semenyo should start against Spurs, according to Iriola. Sorry, where was I? You ever notice an FPL manager says they were unlucky during a bad point sweep, but on a high point sweep they were brilliant? Not just then, lucky. Yeah, I'm sure some people probably say that. Semenyo medical booked at City on Thursday, so look, yeah, we know that already. Semenyo's going to play Spurs, and then he's probably gone, to Man City. Jeez, I'll tell you what. Like, from everything we've heard about this transfer, like Semenyo's kicked up no fuss whatsoever. He's just carried on training, carried on playing, as most players I think do, by the way. But there are some players that don't do that, so it's always nice to see. And I'm sure Semenyo will go and play 90 minutes and give it his absolute all. But he is also human, right? And if you knew you're about to have one, probably, I mean, will Semenyo get a bigger transfer for his whole career than going to Man City, including the payday and stuff? Probably not. So I'm sure Semenyo will go out and play like he always does, but he's human. There has to be a slight thought, I cannot get injured here. Imagine if he picks up a big injury and the Man City are like, nah, just not going to buy you now. Like, you can't just, you surely can't put that completely out of your mind. Like, if there's a 50-50 tackle, is he going to be all in for it? I don't know. He'd probably score now. Probably score a brace. Update on Mount. Should I sell or take the risk? He's going to be in the squad, but I don't think he's going to start. He's probably a sell, to be honest. Now Semenyo has had the medical. Would you do him and Anderson out this week for Gabriel and Cherky -4? Probably not. I think like Semenyo is going to play. Semenyo, although all the stuff I just said as well. Semenyo and Gay to Rogers and Mukiele. Probably not. No, not for me. I would just keep Semenyo now and just sell him next week. What's the way to show you my team so you can give me some suggestions? There isn't a way to do that, to be honest. I don't take people's teams and tell them what to do. I just try and avoid doing that. Like, have a think about what you want to do. If you've got a couple of options you're not sure about, I'm more than happy to help. But I don't take people's teams and just tell them what to do. I gave up on that a long time ago. Bench 1, Ekatike, O'Reilly, Garner. Probably Garner. Love from South Africa. Foden and Rice. Or Saka and Cherky. Foden and Rice, to be honest. Gay looks like he's going to City. I'm not as sure. I don't think that one's as clear cut, to be honest. You got to remember with Gay, he's out of contract in the summer. You get a big payday if he waits. We know Liverpool were interested. There was talk about Real Madrid being interested as well. I don't think Gay to Man City is as nailed on as Semenyo. Start 2 of Van Dijk, Ekatike, Szoboszlai, Anderson. Ekatike and Szoboszlai, I think. And you're probably going to tell me you've got Arsenal defenders. That's still my answer. Hope you can end up top 100. Why just top 100? Why not top 1? Would you start Dorgu? Probably. What's the alternative? Is Rodri a good long-term pick? No. He would be if he was going to start 90 minutes every game, but there's no way we can kind of guarantee that. Debating doing Van Dijk to Tarkowski. Why wouldn't you, other than Burnley for Van Dijk? You usually hate the concept, but suppose you're more tolerable this week. Yeah, fair enough. I'm glad you hate it usually. Why wouldn't I? I don't know. I'm struggling with Van Dijk, right? Okay. He's not been very good. But understatement, probably. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Why wouldn't you? I was going to say the fixtures are not that bad, but actually they're not that great. Bournemouth away, Newcastle at home, City at home. Yeah, I don't know. I just, there's part of me that just thinks he's still okay. Like, if I had to play him against Bournemouth away, Newcastle at home, Sunderland away, Forest away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, I'm kind of okay with it, and Spurs at home. I just, I don't know. I really struggle with Liverpool because there's part of me that just thinks that they're not as bad defensively as we've seen. They're just not. But then I've thought that for 20 weeks so far. Like, okay, I'm looking at the stats now. For expected goals conceded, Liverpool are top 14. Like, the only defenses that have been better in terms of limiting chances this season are Arsenal, Newcastle, and City. So at some point, does that just... By the way, Man United have not been bad defensively. They've been improving. So does that change at some point? Do the stats, do the chances Liverpool are limiting at some point, does that start producing clean sheets? That's what's on my mind. Look, Tarkowski's better this week, but Van Dijk's better next week. So I just prefer to wait on that move, to be honest. If you've got cover this week, why not just keep Van Dijk for Burnley and then decide what you want to do? And if you really still want to buy Tarkowski, just do it then. Start what? I just think there's... Okay, here's the last thing I'll say on Van Dijk until someone asks me another question. I just personally think for the second half of the season, it's more likely the points get better than stay the same. Does that make sense? It could be that he gets even worse, right? I'm not saying that's a scenario that can't happen. But for me, the most likely outcome for Van Dijk is that his points start going up rather than down on a points per game basis. But also, he's not great value. If you want to sell him, I will not sit here and argue that with you at all. And if you want to do Van Dijk to Tarkowski, it's absolutely fine. Yeah, absolutely fine. Like I'm not even trying to justify keeping him. I really don't care. If everyone wants to sell, they should just sell. For my team, like you kind of asked it why I wouldn't do it. Like there's no need for me to really do Van Dijk to Tarkowski because my three defenders are fine. Now I could do Van Dijk to Tarkowski and bench Szoboszlai, but I just think transfers are really precious right now. There's lots of information we're going to get over the next couple of weeks. Lots of people are going to want Fernandes back, Palmer, Enzo, Chalobah. There's a lot of players to bring in. Is selling Van Dijk this week my biggest priority? I don't think so. I've already got Gabriel. I just don't need to do it. For your team, it might make perfect sense to do Van Dijk to Tarkowski, and everyone's sick of him, so selling him might just give you better mental health. So why not just do it? Start one of Anderson, Forrest, Mukiele, Senesi. Probably Anderson. Start Dubravka or Raya. Wilson or Garner for Dewsbury Hall, or roll and take the price drop. Wilson out of those two. I also quite like Tavernier and Anderson. Watkins or Bowen. Bowen because he's cheaper. Bruno on wildcard or not. Thoughts on the news? I wouldn't go for him yet, but I would have a plan of how you can get him in one move. Why is Gusto so lowly owned? He's nailed and cheap. I don't think he's completely nailed, is he? I know you're saying he's nailed, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, he did get benched, like literally game week 18. That strikes me as probably not completely nailed. Sorry, I thought I had a message. I don't have a message. Yeah. He's not even that cheap either at 5 million. He's not probably a DEFCON player either, I suspect. Start Mark Gay or Mickey van der Ven. Spurs are away, right? To Bournemouth, home. I'd start Gay, I think. Vandenberg, Estev, Timber, Dorgu, Ekatike, no bench. -8, -12. Well, Timber's fine. Dorgu's fine. You've just listed a bunch of players that are fine. Dorgu's fine. Timber's fine. Vandenberg may start, may not. So probably just sell Ekatike and Estev, maybe. Ekitike to Watkins. Again, it's fine. I personally think it's too much money to have in the forward line with Watkins, but he's fine if he keeps starting. Anderson, Van Heck, Dewsbury Hall on the bench. Anderson's okay to play this week. Would you start Richards over any of the Liverpool assets? No, he's going to be on the bench. Glasner said that. Start Henderson or Dubravka. Henderson. Minte to Enzo -4. Van Heck, Guiu, Goodmanson bench. Don't hate it. Have Calafiori 1 free transfer. If he doesn't start, he's probably not going to. Goodmanson starts. I want Calafiori long term. Okay. Would you say it's okay to keep him or he needs to go? I would sell him. I would sell him, yeah. Best option midfield for 6 million, getting rid of Minte. I would go Tavernier or Anderson probably. Harry Wilson also not bad. Raya to Sanchez. Calvert-Lewin to Obi. Or Ekitike to Thiago to fund Van Dijk to Gabriel. Ekitike to Thiago, probably. Have Stack, Rodon and Minte as well. Third free transfer could be Minte to Enzo. Yeah, I like that. Barry in, Welbeck out or roll. Will Barry start? I think Barry will start, yeah. With Welbeck, he probably will also start, but obviously it's Man City away. Dewsbury Hall and Ekitike to Mane and Gordon. I'd rather have Ekitike next week than Gordon. And hope he's back. Do I think Dorgu will start? I am 99% confident that Dorgu will start. And I also think there's a very good chance he starts right wing. Yeah. I don't see how Dorgu doesn't start, honestly, with the players that Man United have got. I know that Bruno and Mount are back now, but they're probably not going to start. I mean, Bruno might, to be fair. Best defenders to get if you've got Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Chow, and Van Heck. Chalobah maybe as a longer term pick. Van Dijk next. No, I'm messing. What other defenders are people buying this week? I'm trying to think now. I mean, maybe a Villa defender from next week. Probably not this week. Van Dijk. On wildcard this week is 4-5-1 viable. Yes, although I don't see myself moving to that. Rodgers and Thiago, Wilson and Watkins, or Verts, Calvert-Lewin. Rodgers and Thiago, I think. Probably for me. There is 40 minutes until the deadline, by the way, just in case you were wondering. Who should I start? Gay, Van der Ven, or O'Reilly? O'Reilly. Ekitike to Thiago, or start Mukiele and bench Ekitike? I think I would bench Ekitike and have him for Burnley. Do you prefer streams like this where you are relaxed because you already know you are rolling, or do you prefer the chaos and panic when you don't know what you're going to do? I much prefer this, yeah. I think everyone, well, not everyone, but some people think like I put on the, the panic and stuff like that, and I all along I know what I'm going to do. No, not well. Sometimes I know what I'm going to do, but I'll say it if I do. Like I usually say I'm not quite sure, but I'm probably going to do this. The ones where I'm like Hall and Chow, I really wasn't that sure what I was going to do. And honestly, if I had a couple, why didn't I go Chow? Here's what I would say, by the way. I was thinking about this earlier. Everyone thinks now that I'm like, I wish I'd gone Chow over Lewis Hall because of the 17-pointer. Let me say this. If I could go back in time and get Chow, if I could go back in time and have Chow right now and not get the 17-pointer, just get the 6 points from Lewis Hall, I would absolutely take the swap. I just wish I had Chow instead because I think he's a better long-term pick. So yeah, that one I wish I'd gone the other way. Yeah. But these ones are much better. Honestly, much prefer this. There's nothing to worry about. I'm just going to roll and hope for the best. I will probably stay on until 6:45 though. So, in fact, yeah, 7:15. The game must be 8 o'clock, right? Yeah, I'll stay until 7:15, and you can watch my misery as we see that Paquetá's benched or just not in the squad. Is Nkapie a must sell yet? No, not while Calafiori's out. I mean, it might be that Arteta says in his press conference that Calafiori's back tomorrow, but I doubt it. Pick 3. Gabriel, Chow, Keane, Gay, O'Reilly. Oof. That's actually tough. Gabriel, Chow, and Keane probably, but O'Reilly's also quite good. You've got a nice team. Currently 5k, congratulations. Does getting in Palmer for Saka this week given better... Sorry. Does getting in Palmer for Saka this week better given Saka doesn't look great value and Chelsea start a good run? Yeah, but I don't think Saka against Liverpool at home is that much worse than Palmer against Fulham away, to be honest. So I would just hold for now. Van Dijk to Chalobah / Collins to bench Hugo. I'd be tempted just to keep Ekatike. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I don't think I would do it. No. If you've got loads of transfers, sure. If you've got one, no. A bit screwed. I've got Keane, who's good. Van Dijk, who's good next week. Vandenberg, who's not great. Minte and Ekatike. 4 free transfers, no Gabriel. I mean, I would probably do something like Ekatike to a cheap forward, Minte to Enzo, and then Vandenberg up to Gabriel, and keep Van Dijk. If you don't want that much money in your defense, sell Van Dijk instead of Vandenberg. Play Senesi or Keane, Mane or Mateus Fernandez. So if you've got Mane, and I'd probably start Mane. Van Dijk, Ekatike, Van Heck, Richards in a dead spot. 3 free transfers. Do I sell Van Dijk to Gabriel and downgrade keeper to fun, or just take the pain? You could sell Ekatike. You probably don't want to do that. I would do Van Dijk to Gabriel, I think. Gabriel's going to rise in price probably soon. Maybe even tonight. I haven't checked. Ekatike to Bowen, Van Dijk to Gabriel. I have Timber. That seems pretty good to me. I'd be tempted by Mateta or Thiago over... Wait, who did you say? Oh, Bowen, yeah. I mean, Bowen's fine. Am I worried about games getting called off? Not really. I don't think there's any info we have right now to suggest that's going to happen. So what can I do about it, really, you know? And also, I've got a bench. It's not so bad for me, I guess. Not a great bench. Do you know what as well? I was just thinking, because I looked at my bench and saw Van Dijk. It's actually getting to the point now where I hate owning Van Dijk, but I also kind of love it because everyone else is so against him. Everyone else wants to sell him. And I've got Burnley at home next week and his ownership's just going down. And I know he'll probably get 6 points maximum from that Burnley game. But it does mean for the next 10 days I'll be able to dream of a low ownership 17-pointer. Yeah, I hate Van Dijk, but I love him as well. Where'd I get up to? Doo-doo-loo. Start Vandenberg, Ekatike or Anderson. Probably... Do you know, I'd start Vandenberg and hope he plays, and then I do Ekatike, then Anderson. Best to worst this week, Senesi, Van Dijk, Alderete. Senesi, Alderete, then Van Dijk. Start 1, Van Heck, Ekdal, Richards. Oof. Richards probably not... Well, Richards is not going to start, by the way. Who have... I was about to say who have Burnley got, but of course it's Man United. I'd probably start Ekdal, I think. Currently ranked 509. Congratulations. Thanks for all the tips and videos. Thanks for watching. Bench Xhaka or Ekatike. Xhaka. If wildcarding this week, would you get Chelsea players now? Yes. Start Dubravka over Bruggen. Dubravka. Bench 2 of Mukiele, DCL, Wilson and Anderson. I would bench the 2 defenders there, I think. We live in a sunk cost fallacy. Are you talking about Van Dijk? Yeah, maybe. I still... I don't know. It hasn't hurt me so far. Again, maybe that's a bit of that's not how I should be thinking. Like, it hasn't hurt me, so just keep doing it. But the thing is, I can bench Van Dijk this week kind of guilt free. I know it would be nicer to have, you know, someone instead of Paquetá, someone instead of Szoboszlai, but I don't think it's going to kill me long term. So I can guilt free bench Van Dijk and then have him for Burnley at home. It kind of feels okay. Like. The question I would ask myself for my team, what is owning Van Dijk right now stopping me from having? Now, I could go Van Dijk to a cheap defender like Sunderland and then Paquetá up to like a Bruno G or a Rodgers, but I'm not that bothered. I can't get Rice. Enzo? Is selling Van Dijk so I can get Enzo for Paquetá this week really worth it? I don't think so. So, I don't know. Maybe Van Dijk goes after the Burnley game, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to keep. And again, I kind of like it because everyone else hates him. Liverpool have the best expected goals conceded since November. It's not going to take much for Liverpool to start getting a run of clean sheets. A little bit of luck here and there. Like you look in the Fulham game, 2 really good goals. Like the second goal, what can you do about that? You know, that Reed goal is just one of those that's just you just have to accept that it's just an amazing finish. But he doesn't score that because Liverpool are defending badly. Now, he might score that because Liverpool just cannot put the game to bed and their attack is terrible, and that's not helping either. Again, press him. I know, but come on. You're not expecting many players to score from there. Come on. You say stuff like press him, like seriously, come on. It's just an amazing goal. Just accept it was a great thing. There wasn't much they could do about it. Close him down. Come on. It's like, you know what? You sound like those people that when a player runs through the entire team and scores, you can't just say that's a great, oh, he should have defended him a little. Come on, it's just a great goal. Don't be so miserable all the time. Where did I get up to? I'm keeping Van Dijk. Bench one, Foden, Palmer, Enzo, Bruno G, Rice, Watkins, Thiago. Oh my God, come on. Can't bench any of those players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 attackers. So you've got Haaland. You can't bench Thiago. You can't bench Palmer or Foden. So it's Enzo, Bruno G, Rice, Watkins. I'm going to say Enzo. Horrible. Horrible, horrible decision. That's terrible. Will the team change anymore? My team, maybe. Maybe I'll sell Van Dijk. Just in case someone scores a 40-yarder. I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying Liverpool are only conceding from wonder goals. That's not my point. But they're not necessarily conceding a huge amount. They're not conceding tons and tons of chances every game. That's all. Don't buy Van Dijk. Sell him if you want to. Let's stop. It's got half an hour. Let's stop talking about Van Dijk. It's probably just me. Start 2, bench 2. Anderson, Konza, Calvert-Lewin, Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson and Calvert-Lewin probably. -4 for 2 of Rice, Grealish, Enzo, or start 1 and start Ekitike. Oh, or 1 and start Ekitike. If you've got an okay bench cover, I would just start Ekitike and buy Rice probably. Bench 1 is Xhaka, Chalobah, Harry Wilson, Chalobah. Xhaka, I think. What do you think about Spurs? Vicario and ignore all Spurs players, in my opinion. Because they haven't got great fixtures for very long, so you'll need to sell them again soon. They're just not worth it. Bench Anderson or Calvert-Lewin. Anderson, starting Gabriel, but need to bench one of Dorgu, Timber, Keane, Ait-Nouri. Oh, God. Sorry, not Ait-Nouri. O'Reilly. I would bench O'Reilly, but that is horrible. Bench Jimenez, O'Reilly, or Saliba. Do you know what? I think I would start Timber and Gabriel ahead of O'Reilly. I don't know if I would start Saliba, though. I'm going to say bench Saliba. Which tells me, yeah, I do think he's probably the worst Arsenal player to own. Bench one of Verts, not that you should sell him. Bench one of 52 months, by the way, strange man. Bench one of Verts, Wilson, or Gay. Probably Gay, just about. Ekitike, Heaven, Raya versus Palmer, Mane, Kelleher, -4. I'm not sure I would take that -4, put it that way. You could always deal with that later on. Dorgu, Semenyo, and Thiago, who would you bench? Oh, probably Dorgu out of those, but I would want to find a way to get Dorgu in, preferably. I'm a Fulham season ticket holder, and the only reason Reed hit that is because the whistle was about to go. 2 more minutes and that would have gone sideways. Again, it was just an amazing... I'm sure Liverpool fans were like devastated, but even they've got to appreciate just how good of a strike it was. You just got to appreciate it. I think all this stuff they should have closed it. Oh, come on. It was just a great goal. Just a great goal. Best triple up for Chelsea, in your opinion? Based on current information, Palmer, Enzo, Chalobah. That could change, though. Gabriel's rising in price tonight. Honestly, the guy's ridiculous. I think when I was talking about Gabriel price rise, I think before last game week, and I was talking about, I think I said something like he could be 6.6, and then he could be quickly 6.7 before game week 22. I kind of started to get a bit more cautious because I thought that's probably not going to happen, but it has. Oh my God. Sorry. Something just made me laugh. Nothing FPL related. And I probably can't say what either. I shouldn't have even said that. It's annoying when people do that, isn't it? Oh, it's a really funny thing, but I can't tell you. Sorry. Play Wilson or Ekitike. Wilson. King and Ekitike to Palmer and Barnes. Sure, why not? If that's for free, why not? I have 3 free transfers. Ekitike, Minte, Timber to Calvert-Lewin, Bruno G and Gabriel. Bruno to Enzo after Bruno plays Leeds and Wolves. Honestly, I would just go straight to Enzo. Save yourself a transfer. Timber to Gabriel is fine. I prefer to have Gabriel and Timber, but I get it. Bench Harry Wilson or Dallo. Probably Dallo. Minte, Foden, Van Dijk to Palmer, Cherky, 4.5 defender or roll. I'd probably... I'd be tempted to do the Minte move and just roll if you can afford it. Bench one, Saka, Cherky, Foden, Rodgers, Voltemada. I'm going to say bench Rodgers and risk that Voltemada starts. What's my tip for free hit? Wait. Got Vardio and Minte both injured. Yeah, just have to deal with them, right? I think Hertzler said that Minte's got like a minor chance to start or something like that. But yeah, he's probably not going to, I'd say. We will beat Forest 3-0 tonight. Are you drinking already? Thoughts on Tavernier? I like him for the price. If I had to sell Paquetá this week, I'm pretty sure that's who I would buy because of the Clivert stuff. Is it true you make 50k a stream? Yeah, basically. Like, you know, give or take a few thousand. Minte to Harry Wilson or Reinders? Lol, I don't know. I'd go Harry Wilson over Reinders. Who should I start, Mukiele or Sabosla? I would start Sabosla, I think. How stupid was it if I bought Voltemada for Ekitike? Long term, probably not great, but I do think Voltemada will start this week. I do think Voltemada will start. Now, I did say that last week, but this has just started 2 in a row. Surely Voltemada comes in this time. Would you sell Foden on wildcard and bring in Enzo? A long term, I'd probably try and have both, I think. Please don't keep spamming. Relax. Would I rather have... I don't know if you can answer that. I'm pretty sure I heard some birds in the final thoughts video. Yeah, that's the birds that are living in my air vent right now that I need to get rid of. I think I'm going to have to... I don't think they'd be laying eggs at this time of year. I don't think they do that till March or something. So the plan is, once they leave, because they leave every day to obviously go and get food and stuff, I guess, is to block the hole once they leave. As long as there's no, like, babies in there or anything. But I don't think there will be. But we're going to do it all above board. Don't worry. If they have to be left for a bit, they'll get left. But yeah, I think that's the plan, is to just make sure they can't get back in. Hopefully they can just go and go somewhere else. They're not going to die. They just have to find somewhere else to nest, that's all. Who should I start? Oh, I did that one. Bench Keane or Trossard? Confident Trossard starts. Keane. I agree, by the way. Trossard probably will start. Like, he does seem to be first choice left wing for Arsenal this season. I don't know, actually. Yeah, no, go on. Trossard. One to start. Van Dijk, Wirtz, or Ekitike. Probably Wirtz. Who to get for Wirtz? 7.6 and under. Don't trust his minutes. Slot said he and Ekitike both struggle with Doms. Gordon, Cherky, Rodgers. Really don't like any of them. I would go Gordon, probably, out of those. Free transfer, Gay to Tarkovsky, better long-term fixtures. If that's your only transfer, I guess it's fine. But yeah, it's fine. I think Gay's still okay this week, though. Should I take a hit to remove both Voltemada and Minte? I would just sell Minte. Do I have a contingency plan in case there's a bird invasion on live stream? No, I think that would be highly embarrassing because I probably would panic a little bit. Look, I'll see anyway. I'm trying to get someone to come and sort it. I got loads of stuff I need sorting. And I need an electrician. I need someone to service the boiler. Had the plumber in today as well. The whole house is falling apart. Get Bowen or Watkins. I would go Bowen because he's cheaper. Will we get double game weeks this season? Yes. Probably, I think it's 33 and 36, maybe 26, but who knows for sure. Would you have Liverpool players in your wildcard for the Burnley game or not worth it? I think I would probably wildcard without Liverpool players, would be my gut feeling. One free transfer. Van der Ven to Chow, Ekitike to Bowen or Roll. I'm going to say Roll, I think. Sanchez to Pope and Bruno G for Rodgers for a -4. Why would... Oh, so Bruno G in. No, I wouldn't do any of that. Whether it's Bruno G to Rogers or the other way around, I wouldn't do it. Whether it's Sanchez to Pope or the other way around, I probably wouldn't do it. Should I start Miley or Bowen? Bowen. Captain Bruno G, no chance for me. Szoboszlai or Chalobah? I think you can make a case to start Chalobah. House, I thought you lived in a castle with all that 50 grand per stream income. No, that's just for a rainy day. That 50k per stream, that allows me to buy like Doritos, stuff like that. I don't know why. I don't know why Doritos is what came to mind. By the way, finally free of the Van Dijk curse. Now watch the bullet header versus Arsenal. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen. Start Voltemada, O'Reilly, Anderson, or Heaven. Voltemada. I think he's going to start. Am I considering the game week 24 wildcard and rolling? The thing is, people say that, right? I've seen so many people suggest that. I'll wildcard 24 because then I can just roll. How often does that happen? How often are you allowed to just roll freely? But no, I don't think I'm considering a game week 24 wildcard. But to be honest, I don't think we have enough information right now to decide if it's a good move or not. Like, okay, let me think about this. If Arsenal blank in game week 31 and they don't double in 26 and then they blank again later on, then I guess you can wildcard without Arsenal players. But if they double in 26 and then they blank in 31, then you want them afterwards, then surely wildcard in 24 is like a problem. And also, what's the need to wildcard 24? Right? It's Chelsea players. Yeah, but I mean, I can get two of them without too much issue. So I don't see me wildcarding 24, but I also understand it's quite popular, so maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe I'm just missing something. I think there are people out there that just, they're very trigger happy with chips, and so 24 has like been earmarked as like this good week. Maybe it is really good. The honest answer is I don't know. It's like I said it earlier on in the stream. Whether I wildcard 24 or later on, it does not affect my decision this week whatsoever. So I just can't be bothered to think about it too much. Maybe I'll think about it over the break, but I highly doubt I will wildcard 24 because I do not think my team will need it. I can get Fernandes, I can get Enzo, I can get Palmer. Is it worth a wildcard to switch Guiu to Chalobah? Probably not. Now, I might get a bunch of injuries, and I might have to do it, but there is no plan to wildcard 24 as it stands. As always, I reserve my right to change my mind. Start Chalobah or Gay. Chalobah, how many minutes Bruno Fernandes gets if he's fit? He probably just comes off the bench, 20 or 30, I'd say. Start 2, Lewis Hall, O'Reilly, Calvert-Lewin. I'd probably bench O'Reilly out of those. Outrageous Fez, 12 months. Start Lefay, Ekitike, or Anderson. I'm going to say Lefay. Is Gabriel/Timber and Rice the best Arsenal triple up? I think it depends on Saka's minutes. Like, if there was a double and Saka was going to start both, I'd rather have Gabriel, Timber, and Saka. But arguably, yes, right now for value, Gabriel, Timber, and Rice is pretty good. Show a mock wildcard team. I haven't thought about wildcard. Would you have Bruno? Probably not, but I'd have a route to him by game week 24. So I'd set my team up with minimal transfers, and then I would want one transfer in 24 for Bruno. Bearing in mind he might rise in price before then, or probably not. Thoughts on Gravenberch for the Burnley game onward? No, not really. There's much, but he's not attacking enough. And I know he's had a few returns this season. Like, he's on 91 points. Yeah, he has ticked over okay, to be fair. I think I would rather just go Tavernier or Anderson, I think. Start Alderete, Ekitike, or Van Dijk. Ekitike, -4 to replace Minte, Ekitike. If one of them don't play, I play with. Who would you bring in if I transfer made? I'd probably go Ekitike cheap and then Minte up to someone like Palmer, maybe, if you could do that. Or I don't know who you don't own, obviously. Minte to Rice, Ekitike to Mateta, Ekitike to Thiago, something like that. Palmer and Bruno G, or Cunha and Enzo on wildcard. I wouldn't go Cunha on wildcard, I don't think. After Burnley's, I mean, you could go Cunha and leave money in the bank and then go to Bruno later. I'm going to say the Palmer route, though. Bench Jimenez or Xhaka. Xhaka, is Enzo a good option? Yes. One free transfer. Verts to Rice or Ekitike to Watkins. Verts to Rice, I think. Just because I prefer to have Rice and Ekitike next week. On wild, yeah. On wildcard, only Thiago or Timber, only one Timber. Start two of Van der Ven, Timber, Cash, Chalobah, Timber, and Chalobah. Starting Van Dijk, Gabriel, Saka, Ekitike, and rolling. Silly, not necessarily. Spirit Sam, new member, thank you. Start Anderson, Ekitike, or Potts. Ekitike got Raya and Gabriel. Should I bench Ekitike and go all in on Arsenal? They'll have to play one of Potts. I just start Ekitike, and that kind of sucks. But this week kind of sucks a little bit anyway. I'm just going to start putting people in like a timeout if they just spam loads of emojis, I think, their message. Sorry to sound so negative. It's just, don't want to keep seeing it, you know? Bring Bowen / Watkins for Ekitike or roll. I would just roll. Yeah, I wouldn't buy Delap or João Pedro or Bowen or Watkins, to be honest. I would just roll for now and then see later on. Thoughts on Grealish on wildcard? I wouldn't have too much interest in that. I don't think he's a great long-term pick. Gordon, differential thoughts. I like him in the short term because I think his minutes will be okay. Longer term, it's hard to know. I mean, he did just get subbed at 60 minutes. So it is a little bit of a problem. Would you not bench Szoboszlai for Anderson? I mean, I could do that because I've got double Arsenal defence, but I'm just going to play the penalty taker, I think. Which is Semenyo, Wilson, Anderson to Rice? Semenyo, because I think after this week, he's probably a goner in terms of an FPL pick. He won't be as good at Man City. Your wildcard rationale is opposite than wildcard 16 versus 9. Why use free transfer when you can wildcard? Well, it's a bit different, isn't it? There's blanks and double game weeks to come. Like game week 24, you may not have all the information you need for the rest of the season. It's completely different to 16, 19. There's a lot more at stake when there's blanks and doubles to play with. Thoughts on Cunha captain? It's fine if you don't want to go for Haaland. Yeah, he's probably the second best pick for me. Start one of Alderete, Ekitike, or Wirtz. Probably Wirtz, right? He's more likely to start than Ekitike. Bench Alderete or Gay? Alderete, I think, just about. Any news on Paquetá? Not that I've seen. Like he was in training photos that West Ham released. Someone did say to me that he was only in non-contact training photos, but I don't know if that was on I don't know if that's because he didn't train properly and they're trying to play mind games with Forest or what. But yeah, that's it. There's no news that I've seen. I will stay on until Q2 just to see. I completely agree on no wildcard 24. Just wanted your take. Yeah, I think I'm a lot more cautious when it comes to blanks and doubles. Like you want to get it right because it can be worth so many points. And also, and this is a very generalized opinion. I appreciate it's not the case for everyone, but I think a lot of people want a wildcard because they're saying their team is in a mess, but it's actually not in a mess. They're just panicking about certain players they don't have. Like, look, they're good. Like Bruno G, Rice, not having Gabriel. These are all things to think about, but not having Bruno Guimaraes is not going to make me wildcard. And Gabriel, like, I'd rather take a hit for a -4 to get Gabriel than use a wildcard to get him and like get Bruno Guimaraes in or whatever other people are thinking about. And like, I know some people feel like they've got a mess of a team and they need 3 Chelsea and they've got Guiu and they want Fernandes, but I still don't think most of those teams need a wildcard. Yeah, I think there's just a bit of panic. I think there's a bit of unnecessary panic going on with the wildcard, but that is a generalization. There will be some teams that need a wildcard. And as always, you will have thought about your team way more than me. So if you really think you need it, I'm just an idiot in front of a webcam. I got no idea what I'm talking about, really. Play Wilson or Dorgu? Wilson. Play one of Van der Ven, Vandenberg, or Van Dijk. That's a lot of hands. I would play Vandenberg because if he doesn't start, he should play 0 minutes. That would be the hope. There is a bit of risk there, right? Because he could come off the bench if there's an injury. But I'd probably play Vandenberg, then Van der Ven, then Van Dijk. Rodgers or Gordon for a 2-week punt? Gordon all the way. Gordon or Guimaraes and is Richarlison an option? Richarlison might be a short-term option, but I would just never fully trust the minutes. I would go Gordon over Guimaraes, but it does keep coming back to bite me every time I say that. Start Alderete or Chalobah? Chalobah? Quick captain poll. I can do a quick captain poll, although I'm pretty sure what it's going to come in as. Surely only need a wildcard if you have no transfers and need to sort like 5+ things. Yeah, but even then, I think a lot of the time when people say they've got to sort 5+ things, not all of them are like a massive priority. Pick 2, Gravenberch, Stack, Ekatike. Ekatike and Stack, probably. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodoo. Timber for Gabriel or Ra. Got 2 free transfers. If that's your only route to Gabriel, I would do it. But ideally, I think you get both. Your game week 21 captain. Haaland, Cunha. I'm just going to put the top 3. Thiago. You could argue that actually Saka's not bad this week, but whatever. Start Ekatike or Heaven. I'm going to say Heaven, but I feel like that's so stupid. Thoughts on David Brooks as an enabler now Kluivert is out and Semenyo is leaving? Potentially really nice for 5 million. I just think Bournemouth will end up buying players, so I don't know what his minutes are like, but for 5 million, could be worth a risk. Vandenberg to Mukiele or Collins. There's a big price difference there. Depends what you can do with the money. Collins is the better pick, but he is more expensive. Longstaff to Garner or Lafay or roll and play TK. Probably just roll. Start Van Dijk / Mukiele and Vert / Wilson. Keep Lacroix. I'd start Mukiele over Van Dijk and Wilson over Verts, I think. Keep Lacroix. Why not? Why West Ham Instagram has a picture of Paquetá's shirt? Usually means he plays. See. Let me see. I hope so. By the way, all this for a player that's just going to blank. He'll probably get like 1 or 2 points. Let me see. Is it on the story? Oh, hang on. Oh, no. Not Paquetá. Let me see. I don't see it. Tati, Areola, and Walker Peters. That's on the story. Where are you seeing... Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. Pablo, Tati, wee, Lucas Paquetá. I mean, to be fair, the shirts are probably always there. Yeah, I've seen it on the post. I've seen it on the post. Okay. I'm going to tweet about this. Like, hardly anyone owns Paquetá. Most people just do not care about this whatsoever. Okay, let me just tweet this. Hopefully that just means he plays. We'll see. He's probably just going to be in the squad. I think he will be in the squad. I'm pretty confident in that. It's just whether he starts. Like, he's probably going to be on the bench, and that would be quite annoying. Where did I get up to? Oh yeah, thank you for the super chat about the Paquetá. Thank you for all the super chats, to be honest. I got Tav and all the likes and the subscribers and just watching. I got Tavernier for Mintel, my only free transfer. All right, definitely all right. Is it too risky to bench O'Reilly and start double Arsenal defence, or should I split the risk? If you think Arsenal defence is more likely to get a clean sheet, what's the risk? I would bench O'Reilly. Start Van Dijk or Miley, Rogers, Bruno G, Foden, Saka, Garner. Who to sell if I need to? Probably Garner. Wildcard, pick one of Gordon, Bruno G, Gravenberch, Garner. Gordon, need one to start out of Ekatike, Wilson, or Chalobah. Wilson, start 2 of Elliot Anderson, Timber, Ekatike. I would probably bench Ekatike, Petrovic, and Senesi, or Anderson. I would start Senesi over Anderson. Play Wilson and roll, or sell Ekatike to Thiago. Play Wilson and roll. Best midfielder for 7.5 or below. Already have Rice and Enzo. I would go Gordon or Enzo. Oh, sorry, you've got Enzo. Yeah, I'd probably go Gordon, I think. Would you have started Ekatike if you had him? Okay, let's pretend that I've got Ekatike instead of Thiago. I probably would have started him, yeah. Late to the stream, thoughts on Dorgu versus Ekatike? I'd probably start Dorgu, I think. Better, hang on a sec. Nuno would never bench Paquetá. Yeah, that's why I don't want to say confident, but that's why I think there's a good chance. Like, if he's fit and they can play him, they will play him, in my opinion. I know West Ham fans are like super down on him, but I honestly think he'll be fine. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just checking whether Nuno's messaged me. Nuno sometimes sends me a message. see. I must admit, they must have changed something on Twitter because I never get like spam posts anymore, like spam messages, which is really nice. But yeah, I've also got nothing from Nuno. So, do I rate Tielemans at all? I don't think he's a bad option. Sell Ekatike for a -4. I've got no bench. I'd probably be a bit tempted to if you've got 0 bench. 3 free transfers: Ekatike to a cheap forward and Minte to someone this week, or Roland next week. Do Thiago to a cheap. It sounds. I think I would deal with it this week personally. Sounds like you haven't really got much of a bench, especially with the free transfers. It's a bit annoying, I know, because you're going to lose him before Burnley, but I'd be tempted to deal with it. So you'd bench Ekatike if you had Dorgu Heaven. I think so. It's not a no-brainer, but I think I would do that, yeah. Cheers, Lamine. Wilson, Szoboszlai, Gay. Start one and bench order for the other two. Wilson, then Szoboszlai, then Gay, I think. Odds on Trossard starting, pretty high, I would say. Bench Paquetá or Szoboszlai. Ooh, Paquetá, I think, because he's a little bit of a doubt. On a wild card, how do you feel about Watkins? Don't like. Haaland, yes. Mane, yes. Palmer, yes. Enzo, yes. Rice, yes. Bruno G, okay. Cherky, okay-ish. I'm still not convinced about him long term, but he does keep starting for now. Minutes, etc. are good. Thoughts on Thiago on wildcard? Yes, I think he's a. The fixtures are not great. A lot, like I would say, 4 of the next 6 are not great, but 2 of the next 3 are fine. So I think he's okay, but I don't know if he's a long-term pick really. Like I might sell him next week. I probably won't, but I might. Bench one: Cherky, Elliot Anderson, Bowen. Elliot Anderson from those. By the way, just sorry, I'm going back to that West Ham post a second. They did also. Yeah, I don't know about that Paquetá shirt because they also posted Pablo and Tati. That's their 2 new signings, right? I mean, they're not both starting. So I think we can probably assume Paquetá's in the squad. Whether he starts, I don't know. I hope he does, though, because I cannot be bothered to watch West Ham Forest unless Paquetá's starting. That's just horrible. Bench order: O'Reilly, Ekatike, Potts. I'd probably start O'Reilly, then Ekatike, then Potts, to be honest. When a player rises in price so much, do you ever feel left out and not buy him? I feel that for Rice. I'm not sure what you mean. If I thought he was worth going for, I would just go for him, but Areola, Kyle Walker-Peters, Kilman, Mavropanos, Scarles, Potts, Socek, Paquetá, Bowen, Tati, Pablo. What's that? Is that a leak? Are you leaking me the team? Hold Voltemada or -4 to replace him and Potts. I would just play Voltemada. I think he's going to start. Bench one. Oh, did that one. Bench. Oh, sorry. Play one of O'Reilly, Verts, or Dorgu. Oh my god. I feel like you should play Verts, but I'd be very tempted to play both defenders ahead of him. I'm going to say Dorgu, which might be crazy. Bench Ekatike or Wilson. Ekatike. Why do you think Voltemada starts over Vissa? Vissa starts 2 wins. Just because he started 2 in a row, really. I find it easy to roll. I feel some people get excited by points from players in previous weeks. If you didn't like a pick before a big return, they don't just become great. Yeah, that is true. I mean, we're all human, right? Like whether a player scores points or not, it does affect everyone. Even if they say it doesn't, right? It absolutely does. But I agree, it shouldn't massively change your opinion. Like, it can have knock-on effects, right? If you were thinking about buying a player and then you know their price is going to go up massively, you might want to get them in earlier because of a big haul, because you know they're going to be brought. But yeah, generally, I quite like rolling. I think it gives you options. It gives you more options the more transfers you've got later on. But sometimes your team just needs to use them straight away. Start or bench Bruno for Mikolenko or Garner. No, I would just play Bruno, I think. Play one, Sanchez or Dubravka. Sanchez. Would you do a -4? Anderson to Bruno G, Gordon, Enzo? If yes, which? No, I would just play Anderson. Am I starting Paquetá? Yes. I'm locked in. I was willing to risk Paquetá when I thought there was a chance he was more just in the squad than starting, but now I'm starting to think he's probably going to start. I'm going to be devastated when he's not, by the way. It will just suck, but... Paquetá just makes everything better this week. Got that scintillating Saka feeling, but I'm going to bottle the captaincy. Yeah, I wouldn't be captaining him, but I do. Saka's just such a weird one because Rice is absolutely smashing it. Like he just is. He's scoring points left, right, and centre. So it feels really stupid to sit here and say that you still think Saka's better. And obviously, from a value perspective, Saka has not done as well. Like that's clear. That's a fact, right? From a value perspective, Rice has been better, and from a points perspective, but Saka's actually done well. He's been so consistent. You go and look. I bought him in game week 11. Go and see how many weeks he's blanked. There are not very many. He's done really well. It just so happens that Rice has been smashing him, and it sucks, but that can happen sometimes. So I think Saka is completely capable of outscoring Rice the next few weeks, but will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. Where did I get up to? There's only a minute. Don't put any more super chats in now. There's like less than 2 minutes to go. Bench one out of Keane, Dorgu, Wilson, and Chow. Oh my god. Honest, I played the defenders and bench Wilson, I think. Start Krupi, Alderete, or Mane. Alderete. Vandenberg to Chow. Van Dijk, Ekitike, Giu, bench. Ooh. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do that. It's going to be annoying if Vandenberg starts, but I'd be tempted. Thoughts on Foden on wildcard? I quite like Foden for 3 weeks, then switch to Bruno. Saliba and Gabriel instead of Timber, cheaper. I mean, my preference would be Timber and Gabriel, but Saliba and Gabriel's not terrible. Vandenberg or Alderete, does Vandenberg even start? Probably not, but it's worth probably the risk starting him because he tends to be like a 90-minute or a 0-minute player. Paying over 10 million for assists and 6 points, I'd rather spend 3 minutes. Yeah, I know, but I really don't know how to explain this. I get it, right? If I could go back in time, I would also buy Rice. Obviously, because he scored more points. But do you think Rice is going to continue to score more points? If yes, buy Rice. If not, keep Saka. There's every chance Saka just does better soon. Like, it's possible. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm going to roll until 23. My plan is that, and I'll give me 3 transfers to make the moves I want. Yes, I'm probably going to also... Well, I might use a transfer next week because I'm going to have 3 moves next week. I might do Cunha to Enzo, but I also might just roll to 4. We'll see. We will see. I'm locked in. Vice Captain Cunha, Captain Haaland, Paquetá starting. Get that yellow flag gone, FPL. Thoughts on Ollie coming back? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't think it's great. I haven't got anything against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've just got a thing against how the club's being managed, basically. There we go. We're locked in. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button before you all run off. I am going to stay until the team sheets, but I do need to step away from the computer for 1 second. So if you can just give me 1 minute and I will be back. Let me just mute the mic. You know, I might say something that gets me in massive trouble. We wouldn't want that. And I am back. Okay. Let's spam chair. How to enter the private Discord. If you go to Discord and you link your YouTube account that you're using as a member, then it should just pop up the Let's Talk FPL, and that's the only way to get in. If you're on a deserted island with either your missus or the FPL app, what week would you wildcard? What? We can all see the bench now. What do you mean you can see the bench? It didn't pop up for me. What didn't? Oh, sorry. Hopefully everyone gets a green arrow, but less than me. Yeah, that's pretty much what I want. That's pretty much what I want. What we've all got. Oh, don't say Paquetá bench. Oh, Paquetá bench, Paquetá starts. Okay. Let's see. Do you use Streamlab and a green screen? I use OBS and a green screen. Rumour is Dewsbury Hall back in a few weeks. It's the Paquetá pitch in England. It should show up for you. It depends what membership you're on, by the way, because if you're on one of the top 2 tiers, which I think you are, Omar, should it should show up. Just make sure you're linking the right one. You've got to link it. You've got to link your YouTube account with Discord. It should work. I've set it up so that people can get in now. Oh, is he on the bench? Seriously? That's annoying. Oh, has he set it on Patreon? Oh, that's so bad. I don't want to watch the game. Did he actually say that, or are you winding me up? Let me see. He's either on the bench or starting. That is true, yeah. What happens if you have 3 City and Semenyo moves to City? You can keep them all, but the next time you make a transfer, you'll be forced to transfer out one of them. You can only have 3 players, so the next time you make a transfer, you'll be forced to sell one of your Man City players. Why take a picture of a player on the bench? I don't know. Maybe they're trying to wind the FPL community up. Like, if he gets benched, he gets benched. It would just be I'd rather watch the game with him starting. Put it that way. Yeah, Bowen probably on penalties. I think one of the new guys has got a pretty good penalty record though. It will be fun if he starts and gets like a red card. Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting any points. I've just checked and nothing on the West Ham Patreon yet. Okay, people winding me up then. We'll see. We still got 11 minutes. It's going to feel like a long 11 minutes now. You've Captain Ekatika. No, you haven't. If he doesn't start, I won't watch. I mean, I'm kind of feeling the same, to be honest. There must be something more interesting I can do than watch West Ham versus Forest. Is this your highest ever rank at this point in the season? I don't know the answer to that. Probably not, but I don't really keep track. If you could create an FPL chip for next season, what would you make? Oh, I don't know, to be honest. Everyone always asks. I feel like the amount of times I've been asked this, I should have a really good answer, but I don't. I don't know. Not really sure what I would want. I've Captain Esteval. Have that gut feeling. No, you haven't. Have you? Favorite Galway pub? I used to always say the Oslo in Salt Hill. I do still really like it. What I will say about Galway is it's very difficult, especially in town, to walk into a bad pub. There's so many good ones. Like, I don't really mind where I go. Garavans, Keys, Seven, Salt House, the one on the corner. What's the one on the corner? That's like Salt House. Dewdrop. It's good. Taylor's. Monroe's. Like, there's just so many good ones. If you've already linked your YouTube thing, just unlink it and try again. You've got a double stag do in Galway in October. Nice. Enjoy. Murphy's is a much better pint than Guinness. I actually tried. It was either Murphy's or Beamish. I can't remember which one. I had it once because they didn't have Guinness in this restaurant I was in, and I absolutely hated it. I couldn't drink it. I actually gave it to my wife. Galway is a tremendous city, but not. But I don't know which one it was. But not as good as Cork. I don't think I've ever been to Cork. I don't think I've ever been to Cork. I probably should go at some point. Do I have any mods on YouTube? There are some from like years ago, but you don't really need them all that much, to be honest. Don't usually have too many issues on on YouTube. Have I been to Derry? Yes, once. I went to Donegal and then we took a day trip to Derry. Do 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 do. I was top 2k after triple captain Haaland in game week 6, then dropped to 90k because I used my wildcard in game week 2. I mean, 90k is still pretty nice, right? New chip, both captains' points are doubled. Yeah, kind of. But then when you get to double game weeks, it's a bit like. So, the problem with chips like that is, I think people often view them from the point of, I don't want to get my captain wrong. So I just want 2 so that I don't get like massively hurt by the swing. But on a double game week, that makes it quite boring. And also, it makes it more difficult to catch up. Let's say there's 2 excellent captains. Let's say there's Haaland and Haaland and Palmer, right? And they're both good options for the double. Most people will go Haaland. So if you're behind in the ranks, you might think, oh, I'm going to go Palmer and try and catch up. Even though I think Haaland's better, I'm going to take the punt on Palmer. But a double captainship takes that out of play. So I don't like stuff like that. It's the same reason I don't like all the... I've said this before. I don't like all the suggestions that you can... like that you shouldn't be able to captain the same player 2 weeks in a row. That sounds great when Haaland's smashing it every week and people find it boring. But what if Haaland had 2 good games in a row and then Palmer had 2 good games in a row and everyone was going to go Haaland, you wanted to captain Palmer as a differential? Well, your differential opportunity is now taken down to 1 week instead of 2. So I don't know. Most of the new things that people want to implement, I don't think are actually that good, really. Best pint of Guinness. I do love the Guinness. I feel like the Guinness chat. I think it's true what people say. Like it does just sometimes taste better in certain pubs and that. But like, oh my god, the amount of word of mouth marketing Guinness get is just crazy. So funny. It's just drank so much in Ireland. Like I was in a pub the other day, and there's like a group of lads that are probably like early 20s at most. I was thinking back to when we used to go out when we were like 18, 19, 20. I couldn't imagine a lot of us just drinking Guinness, and they're just all there drinking Guinness. The whole pub was. It's mad. Ever been to a Weatherspoons? Oh my god, hell yeah. Used to go to the Dragon in Weston-super-Mare. Shut now, but yeah, I remember getting a drink in there when I just turned 18. They're like, "You've been getting drinks here for weeks." I was like, "Yeah, but now it's legal." To be fair, it's just like it's like anything, right? Guinness is just so big in Ireland. That's why everyone drinks it. Like I used to drink cider when I was growing up because cider was just pretty popular in the west of England. Do, 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 do. What 2 would you have started at? Watkins, Rogers, and Paquetá? I would have benched Paquetá. I'm from Western. Yeah, Weston-super-Mare. What a place to grow up in. What do I think of the assistant manager chip? I'm glad it's gone. I'm glad it's gone. What about an option to buy another wildcard for 2 million of your bank? Yeah, I mean, I like the fact this game is simple, to be honest. But probably not. Just here so we can be sad together when Paquetá's bench. You do realise if he's starting, he's going to get like 2 or 3 points maximum. He might even get a 1-pointer because Forest will score, so 2 points is the max. Then he'll get a yellow card. Defcons are annoying. I don't mind Defcons, to be honest. I actually think I'd probably keep it now rather than get rid of it. Do, 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 do. Everyone's saying Paquetá starts, but I don't know where you're seeing that from. According to who? Oh, Tatty starts. I can see West Ham Central saying that. A West Ham in the know I follow on Patreon is predicting a Paquetá start. Is that ex-West Ham employee? Doesn't matter how bad West Ham are if they get a penalty. Imagine if he misses the penalty, though. Apparently, the two new guys have got a pretty good penalty record, but the fact that Callum Wilson was on the pitch and Paquetá still took the penalty meant I'm pretty happy with that. Lots of people saying, okay, is this ex-West Ham employee that you're taking it from? Not that you should really be giving that info out, but no more chips with the option to change your captain like in the Euro fantasy game. Yeah, but it requires so much active management, doesn't it? I mean, I am thinking about FPL most days, so it's probably not a huge issue, but I don't know if I want that in. Defcon should be more dynamic, like 1 point for 5, 2 for 10. No, I quite like that there's a limit, to be honest. Check comments. What? Oh, Kilman dropped. Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think he's starting, according to this West Ham Central account. Again, I realise no one really cares about Paquetá. Am I going to do Fantasy World Cup? I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. I basically, in the run up to the World Cup, I always think I'm not going to do it. Then as it gets closer, I kind of feel like I do kind of want to do it. The problem is, it kind of just gets in the way of doing stuff in the summer. Like, I don't want to always be making videos. But like, once you start, you've kind of got to finish. Like, I wouldn't mind doing some content in the run up to the World Cup and then stopping doing it. But that's not really how it works, right? So I might just leave it. We'll see. I got some stuff to do in the summer, you know. Okay, 1 more minute. Of course, he was starting. They just got spanked by Wolves. Yeah. This is England's year. I hope so. I feel like playing fantasy takes away some enjoyment from watching football in general, but we still play it. I think you're probably right, to be honest. I think you're probably right. Paquetá starts. Come on. It's Somerville, Bowen, and Tatty up front. But Tadibo's back as well. And Mavropanos. How much is this Tatty? I bet FPL haven't even put him in the game, have they? Oh, I can't check now. Is Tatty even priced? So it's Bowen right, Somerville left, Paquetá number 10, Souček and Fernandez, Scarles, Mavropanos, Tadibo. Who starts for Forest? Have a look. Oh, he's 5.5. Okay, interesting. Genuinely interesting. 5.5. Who starts? Anderson starts. Igor Jesus. I mean, all the players you expect started. He might get an early sub. Yeah, but I'm just glad I could roll, to be honest. How are you guys seeing this early? Well, it's not that early, right? They've literally just released the teams. Still live, yeah. I was waiting for the Paquetá clean sheet. Clean sheet. I was waiting for the Paquetá news. Okay, let me just tweet out my team. Game week 21 locked. Oh yeah, Cell starts, but John Victor's not. Oh no, hang on. Is John Victor on the bench? That's kind of interesting. Goalkeeper. Wilson Wilson, I think. Oh, he's not in the squad. Okay. point. Jared Bowen Hall could happen. Could happen. Yeah, Victor was injured last time. I can't wait to put my team together for game week 22 and put Van Dijk in the 11. Okay, I'm off. Thank you very much for joining me. Aina was back last week, by the way. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed that stream, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. And I don't know when I probably won't make a video now until Friday, probably. I'll just wait until all the games are finished. There's no rush because there's not a deadline now till a week Saturday. So enjoy the time off. I will see you on Friday probably for a video. And then we'll start doing knee-jerk streams from game week 23 onwards. So after game week 22 finishes. There won't be a knee-jerk stream this week, I don't think. No, there won't be because the Liverpool game is like gonna finish at like 10. It's too late for me. Right. Thank you very much, and I will catch you later. Good luck this week.